Chapter 730. Okay, then I'll wait for you. N. Auntie Wang saw the light of the elevator and suddenly froze. She had pressed the button just now. Why didn't the elevator come yet? Why was it so slow? The two of them paid attention and then understood what was going on. They saw that the elevator actually stopped on every floor, from the 23rd floor to the 22nd floor, 21st, 20th. It stopped on every floor. What's going on? Auntie Wang was shocked. There shouldn't be many households here. Why are there so many people calling for the elevator? That's not right. There's no one else on my floor. Why did it stop? Tian Suruan also noticed the problem and suddenly felt a chill down her spine. Could it be haunted again? Auntie Wang was also in a cold sweat. I came back to pick up my things during the day. Why am I so unlucky? Is someone playing a prank in the elevator? Although Tian Suruan said so, it was obvious that she was very nervous. It's daytime. Who would be so bored? Besides, it's haunted. Who dares to play in the elevator? Auntie Wang was a little trembling. Suruan, there's really something wrong with this house. I advise you not to buy it. I'll buy it. Tian Suruan was also very scared, but when she thought of how certain Xiaochen was, she was relieved. After a while, the elevator finally came down. However, after the elevator door opened, the two of them were shocked to find that there was no one in the elevator. There was no one at all. This made the two of them dumbfounded. Are we still going up? Auntie Wang was a little timid. Let's go. We're all here. Tian Suruan was quite courageous. Then let's go. Auntie Wang braced herself and said. The two of them entered the elevator and pressed the floor. The elevator slowly went up. However, when they reached the second floor, the elevator suddenly stopped, which made the two of them shocked. Suruan, did you press the wrong floor? Auntie Wang asked nervously. Because it was Suruan who pressed the floor before, she thought that Suruan pressed the wrong floor. No. Tian Suruan shook her head. Then, this is. Before Auntie Wang finished her words, the door of the elevator opened quietly, but there was no one outside the elevator. She could even see the property arrears reminder on the door of the house opposite the elevator, which meant that there was no one in this house. A gust of cold wind blew in, causing the two of them to shiver. Even the bold Tian Suruan could not help but change his expression. The elevator door opened for a while before it closed automatically. However, at the moment when it closed, there seemed to be faint footsteps. Click, click, what's that sound? Auntie Wang exclaimed subconsciously, and her heart almost jumped out. I don't think it's anything. It's just the mechanical sound of the elevator closing. Tian Suruan comforted him. In fact, he was also trying to justify himself and comfort himself. Oh, maybe. Auntie Wang breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that the sound might be the mechanical sound of the elevator closing. After a while, the elevator slowly rose. However, just as they breathed a sigh of relief, the elevator stopped on the third floor. The elevator door opened slowly. Although they were prepared, when they saw that there was still no one outside, their faces were still pale. Is there something wrong with the elevator again? Tian Suruan couldn't help but say to himself. Maybe it's broken? Auntie Wang could only explain in this way to be at ease. The elevator door closed slowly again. There seemed to be footsteps outside, which seemed to be coming from the stairwell. It seemed that someone was going upstairs. The two of them were stunned. The elevator door had closed, and the elevator rose again. This time, the two of them heard it clearly. It should be the footsteps of someone walking, and it seemed to be a woman's voice in high heels. Suruan, let's go downstairs. It's too scary. I don't want my things anymore. Auntie Wang was trembling. Maybe someone is playing a prank. She ran to the second or third floor to call the elevator, but she didn't come up. I guess she is waiting for us on the fourth floor, and then she will go to the fifth floor. Tian Saorso comforted her. Maybe. After listening to Tian Saorso's explanation, Auntie Wang also felt that it was reasonable. If that was the case, it could be explained. However, both of them actually understood in their hearts. How could a normal person run so fast? Go to the next floor and call the elevator in advance? What kind of speed is this? It's simply like a ghost. And the footsteps weren't fast, so, however, both of them didn't want to think about it, and they didn't want to think about it. What they wanted was to go to the floor as soon as possible, take the things, and come back quickly. On the 4th floor, the elevator door opened as expected. There was still no one. When the door closed, they heard the footsteps. Gradually, the two of them were a little numb to the next few floors. It was the same on every floor, but no other strange things happened. Finally, they arrived at Auntie Wang's floor. She wanted to get off the elevator first, but she didn't dare to. Standing in the elevator, she lifted her legs several times, but she didn't dare to step out. The elevator door soon exceeded the time limit, and it slowly closed. Auntie Wang might have deliberately delayed until the elevator door closed, but she didn't go out. Instead, she felt relieved. She really didn't want to get the things. It was just a few clothes. She was rich, so she didn't need it. If she lost her life, it would be sad. However, after the elevator door closed, the elevator didn't go up immediately. The strangest thing was that she didn't hear the footsteps at the same time. Auntie Wang wanted to ask Tian Suruan if she heard it, but the elevator door slowly opened again. It was as if the elevator knew that Auntie Wang wanted to get off but didn't have time. The elevator door opened again for her. Ah! Auntie Wang was shocked. Suruan, did you press it? No. Tian Suruan shook her head. She had been standing far away from the elevator door. Even if she pressed it, it was too late. Auntie Wang looked at Tian Suruan's position and knew that it wasn't her. She was even more shocked. Although the elevator door opened again, she didn't dare to go out again. Click, click. As the elevator door closed again, a gust of cold wind swept past, and the footsteps sounded again. It seemed that this person was waiting for Auntie Wang to go out. Seeing that Auntie Wang didn't go out twice, he had no choice but to leave. Is he waiting for me? Auntie Wang was shocked. Luckily, I didn't go out. If I went out, wouldn't I die? Tian Suruan was also scared out of her wits. She kept saying in her heart, Xiao Chang, you can't lie to me. It's really okay, right? Yes, it's definitely okay. The next stop of the elevator was Su Chuxia's home. When the elevator doors opened, Tian Souring rushed out without a second thought. She wanted to see if there was anything strange outside. Hey! Suruan, you went out? Auntie Wang was stunned. She didn't dare to stay in the elevator alone, so she hurriedly followed. However, there was no one outside, and there was nothing else. Other than the eerie corridor, she couldn't see anything else. As for the stairwell, Tian Suruan didn't dare to go there. Instead, she quickly opened the door. She and Auntie Wang entered the door. Just as the door was closed, Tian Suruan seemed to hear, click, click, footsteps coming from outside the door again. Oh my God, I was scared to death. I'm never coming back. As soon as Auntie Wang entered the door, she sat on the chair at the door and panted. Suruan, what are you taking? Hurry up, let's go. It's too scary here. Oh, okay. Tian Suruan went to get the gold. It was a small bag, and from the outside, they couldn't tell what it was. When the two of them went out, they were surprised to find that the elevator went up and didn't stop at this floor. Logically speaking, it was only a short while, so the elevator shouldn't have moved. What surprised the two of them was that the elevator was still moving like before. It stopped at every floor along the way, and finally stopped at the top floor. Tian Suruan pressed the button to call the elevator. Unexpectedly, this time, the elevator went down smoothly, and it didn't stop in the middle. The elevator door slowly opened, and Auntie Wang subconsciously took 2 steps back, afraid that there was something in the elevator, but there was nothing. The two of them walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the first floor. Just as the elevator door was about to close, the footsteps sounded again. Kata, kata. This time, it was different from before. Previously, it went from loud to soft, but this time, it seemed to be from far to near. It seemed like someone was walking towards the elevator. However, the elevator door was already closed, and they couldn't see what was happening outside. The elevator began to go down. Is there someone outside? Auntie Wang was already nervous. I don't know. Tian Suruan shook his head. This time, to their delight, the elevator went down smoothly to the first floor. The door opened, and the two of them quickly rushed out. When they got out of the unit, they saw Su Chuxia and Xiao Chen, who were a little anxious. Suruan, why are you so slow? Su Chuxia asked. Don't mention it. The elevator is broken again. It has to stop at every floor, and then there are strange footsteps. Tian Suruan complained. Even during the day? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Didn't they say that there were no such things during the day? I don't know. Auntie Wang was there just now. Anyway, it's scary enough, Tian Suruan said. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything. Suruan, do you still want to buy this apartment? Don't force yourself. Auntie Wang isn't unreasonable. It's too scary. Oh my god, what the hell is this place? Auntie Wang seemed to have survived a disaster. She looked at the sunshine outside very pleasantly. Bye. Tian Suruan nodded. You child, how about this? Auntie Wang can make it cheaper. I'll give you 400,000 yuan. After you buy it, don't scold Auntie Wang behind her back. Auntie Wang was really scared. Thank you, Auntie Wang. Looking at the car that Auntie Wang drove, it was a white Maserati CEO. She probably didn't lack money, so Tian Suruan didn't argue anymore. Auntie Wang is going to drink some hot tea to calm down. If you want to buy it, call Auntie Wang. Auntie Wang will wait for you until the afternoon. Anyway, I won't go upstairs. I've already given you the things upstairs. If you don't want them, just throw them away. Auntie Wang would never take the elevator again. Chapter 731. It's okay. I'll clean it up and bring it down for you, Tian Wangshuan said. Thank you. Auntie Wang sighed and got in the car. On the other side, Tian Wangshuan and Su Chuxia also got in Xiao Chen's car. The two cars left the neighborhood one after the other. Since it can appear in the day, it shouldn't be the legendary ghost. It's impossible for ghosts to appear in the day. Xiao Chen muttered after getting in the car, if I'm not mistaken, it should be a human. Oh. Tian Wangshuan was stunned. From your description of the situation, it should be a person walking very fast, hiding outside, pressing the elevator, pressing every floor. That clicking sound is just to confuse you. In reality, this person's movement speed is very fast. He should be a cultivator. Xiao Chen analyzed, only cultivators have this ability. So, someone is deliberately pretending to be a ghost? Su Chuxia frowned. What's his purpose? It's hard to say for now. We can only wait and see. I plan to observe at night for a few days. I'll move a chair and sit in front of the elevator on your floor. I'll see what it is. If someone presses the elevator button, I'll be able to grab it immediately, Xiao Chen said. Thank you. Su Chuxia let out a sigh of relief. With Xiao Chen guarding the door, she could sleep soundly at night. The three of them found a big iron pot stew restaurant. Tian Wangshuan ate happily. After eating, he found a gold shop and sold the gold for money. Then, he went to find Auntie Wang to transfer the ownership. Because it was a new house, they didn't have a title certificate yet. They just needed to change the name with the developer. Normally, it wasn't easy to find a developer to change the name. However, the developer was afraid that the owners would cause trouble and want to return the house. As long as they didn't want to return the house, they could change the name however they wanted. They even didn't want the name change fee. Auntie Wang took the money and left in a hurry. She left her phone number so that Tian Wangchuan could get it if he wanted to pack up. In the afternoon, Tian Wangchuan bought a lot of houses from the agent. Their prices were basically the same as Auntie Wang's, or even lower. Some houses that were worth 1 million were sold for only 400,000. Tian Suruan was holding a huge pile of triplicate forms. Because he had bought a lot, he had also agreed with the developer that these were only temporarily registered under Tian Suruan's name. When it was time to sell the house, the developer would help to change the name again. Seeing that Tian Suruan had helped them solve the problem of returning the house, the developer was naturally happy to agree. By the time they were done, it was already past 6:00 in the evening. Xiaochen didn't have to find a place to stay because he had to keep watch at night. However, when the three of them returned to the neighborhood, they saw a group of people standing at the entrance of their building. They didn't know what they were doing. Did something happen again? Tian Suruan asked subconsciously. I don't know. Let's go take a look. Su Chusha quickened her pace. When he walked over, he saw some property management staff and some familiar faces. They were the owners of this building. He wondered why everyone was standing there. What happened? Su Chusha asked a neighbor she was familiar with. The property management company invited a celestial lady from another place to exorcise the ghost of this building. The person who spoke was Andy Sun, who lived on the first floor. Although she lived on the first floor, she was extremely afraid of the haunting in this building, so she was very excited at this time. I hope it's effective. Celestial lady? Su Chusha was stunned. Really? Back then, they invited Taoist Lu Li and Taoist Tai Shan from Tianqing Temple, but they couldn't find the cause. Was this celestial lady really that powerful? I don't know either. We'll find out later. Andy Sun looked very excited. Everyone, don't worry. This celestial lady is a celestial lady that our property management company invited from the ancient sect 5 Element sect. She is very powerful and will definitely be able to subdue the ghost. The manager of the property management company said loudly. Hearing this, the tenants all agreed. If they could really subdue this monster that came out of nowhere, then they could live here with peace of mind. However, most people were happy, but there were also people who were unhappy. This was the man who had just sold the house to Tian Suruan in the afternoon. This man was called Wu Lixing, and he usually did real estate speculation. When he first bought this house, it was quite cheap. It was a house in the hands of a boss. The price was very low, almost 100,000 yuan cheaper than the normal house price. He originally wanted to keep it in his hands and sell it later when the price increased. Of course, he could directly sell it, but he felt that it was not worth it to sell it at a low price. So, he dragged it out. In the end, such a haunting thing happened. This way, the house couldn't be sold for a while. It was not good to keep the money in his hands. He had no choice but to put it up with an agent at a low price. He didn't expect it to really be sold. He was just about to come back to clean up when he suddenly heard that the property management company had invited a celestial lady to exorcise the ghost. He immediately regretted it. If the ghost was caught, then the house would be fine. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? Thinking of this, he wanted to ask Tian Suruan for the house back. Coincidentally, he saw Tian Suruan coming back, so he went up to him. Tian Suruan, right? Do you still remember me? Wu Lixue went up to greet him. Because Tian Suruan had bought more houses, he was afraid that Tian Suruan would forget about him. Ah, it's you. What's the matter? By the way, when are you going to give me the key? Didn't you say that you still have some things to take away? Tian Suruan asked. Previously, Wu Lixue said that he wouldn't give the key to Tian Suruan and would give it to him later. Now that they met, he asked. This. Miss Tian, I don't want to sell it anymore. Can you make an exception? I won't have a place to live if I sell the house. Can you give it back to me? Or I can give you an extra 10 or 20,000 yuan. Wu Lixue said with a shy face. Ah. Tian Suruan was slightly stunned. Then, she immediately understood what was going on. This Wu Lixue must have seen that the property management company had hired someone to exorcise the ghost and felt that there would be no problem with the house in the future. That was why he came to her to regret his decision. However, Tian Suruan had already bought a lot of houses in her hands. She didn't lack this one. Looking at this person's bitter face, Tian Suruan had some sympathy. She wasn't an unreasonable person, so she looked at Su Chuxia and wanted her to make a decision. Suruan, since they need it, just return it to them. Su Chuxia was also a good girl. She didn't want to take advantage of others. Although this matter was one that they were willing to take, in the end, Tian Suruan was a bit opportunistic. If it was Xiao Chen who had caught the ghost, it would be fine. But now, it was someone hired by the property management company. It wasn't a big deal for them to return the house. This was understandable. Okay, then I'll return it to you, but I can't do the procedures today. Let's wait for next Monday. The day after tomorrow is the weekend. Tian Suruan said, the developer doesn't work. Sure. As long as you can return it to me. Wu Lixue was just trying his luck. After all, people in his line of work were all speculators. If he bought a cheap house, he definitely wouldn't return it to others. Therefore, since Tian Suruan could return it, it didn't matter how she did it. He just had to wait. Let's go home first. Xiao Chen looked at the person at the door and shook his head. As for whether the lady could catch the ghost or not, it didn't have much to do with him. Even if she couldn't, he had already planned to do it himself. However, when the three of them walked to the door of the unit, they were stopped by the property management staff. Now the lady is catching the ghost. Everyone, don't disturb her. Get out of the way. I want to go home. Xiao Chen said faintly. What's wrong with you? You asked the property management company to catch the ghost. Now that we found someone, you're not going to cooperate? The staff was a little annoyed. I asked you to wait, so just wait. If you affect the lady catching the ghost, you're the sinner of the entire community. Affect me? Aren't you being too arrogant with your words? Xiao Chen frowned. He was a little unhappy, but when he saw the other property owners looking at him with unkind expressions, he was too lazy to argue with them. Then let's wait. Let's see if the so-called lady can catch the ghost. Hey, why are you like this? Making sarcastic remarks here? We all want the lady to catch the ghost. Why are you so nosy? Said a neighbor of the nearby property owner. However, just as this person finished speaking, the unit's door opened. A woman with disheveled hair rushed out from inside. Then, with a put-on sound, she fell to the ground. Her face was pale and she was panting heavily. Ah! A ghost. At this moment, the sky was already a little dark. So, when the woman rushed out, it immediately shocked everyone. Those who were timid exclaimed, Lady Fairy? How are you? The staff nearby could tell at a glance that the woman in front of them was the lady they invited. They were shocked and asked quickly. At this time, everyone finally saw that the woman with disheveled hair was Celestial Nun. They immediately let out a sigh of relief and surrounded her, asking, Celestial Nun, did you subdue the ghost? That female ghost is very powerful. I haven't subdued her yet. I need to make some preparations. After taking a breath, the lady said in surprise, I need to buy some things and make some talismans. Everyone can go back first. I'll come back at night. Xiao Chen curled his lips and snorted coldly. He glanced at the staff and said, This is the lady you invited? She's only a so-so. Get out of the way. This. The staff was speechless. It was true that the lady couldn't do anything to the female ghost. He could only say, Don't be anxious. Didn't the lady say that she would go prepare? Then, she will come back at night to catch the ghost. Hey, what do you mean? I came here with good intentions to help you catch the ghost. Why don't you know how to be grateful? The lady was a little unhappy. She was very uncomfortable with Xiao Chen's sarcasm. I didn't say that I can't subdue this female ghost. I just need to be fully prepared. Chapter 732. Xiao Chen didn't feel anything before. After all, this fairy's voice was a little flustered before, but now that it had returned to normal, it sounded a little familiar. He couldn't help but look down and was stunned. It's you? It's you? Li Xianer also looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. You aren't. Hee, Li Xianer, I didn't expect you to be a fairy. So powerful. Xiao Chen found this very funny. This Li Xianer was actually Xiao Zhao's classmate, the girl who was harassed by the Ox family martial arts dojo at the Immortal Resort. At that time, Xiao Chen even helped her. He didn't expect her to be a fairy. He didn't know if this Li Xianer's name was real or fake. Anyway, it was a very ordinary name. At least, Xiao Chen had heard of many people with the same name. He didn't think much about it at that time, but now it seemed that there was really an expert among the people. Was she an immortal cultivator hidden among the students? Li Xianer was a little embarrassed. She didn't know how to explain. Xiao Chang, thank you for what happened before, but things are very complicated now. I can't tell you. You won't understand even if I tell you. You're just an ordinary martial artist. Maybe you have some power, but you can't solve these things. Oh, then you mean that you can? Xiao Chen looked at Li Xianer. I have a certain degree of confidence. Li Xianer nodded. I didn't lie to you. I'm really a fairy. Being a student is just my superficial identity. My secret identity is to help people catch ghosts and solve haunted houses. Oh, okay, then I'll believe you. If you encounter any difficulties at night, you can ask me for help. I can help you beat up ghosts. Xiao Chen smiled. Since she was an acquaintance, there was no need to mock her anymore. Thank you, but there's really no need. This isn't something you can deal with. The other party is a real ghost. Li Xianer declined politely. Xiao Chen didn't say anything else. He suddenly thought of something. Right, I heard that you are the successor of an ancient sect. Are there still ancient sects now? I'm the only one left. Li Xianer nodded and said, you can say that. However, 1,000 years have passed and these ancient sects have all disappeared. Some of the cultivation manuals have also disappeared. I only know a little about it and have some research on some Chiman Dunjia techniques. Oh. Xiao Chen was a little disappointed. It was said that the cultivation methods of the ancient sects were different from the current ones. It seemed like they no longer existed. Even Li Xianer didn't know about them. After nodding and bidding her farewell, Xiao Chen brought Su Chuxia and Tian Soran upstairs. Meanwhile, Li Xianer quickly got into an MPV from a property management company to go shopping. When everyone saw that Xiao Chen and Li Xianer were very familiar with each other, they naturally didn't say anything more. It was their business to mock each other and it had nothing to do with them. It was fine as long as they could catch the ghost. They went all the way back to Su Chuxia's house. Perhaps because there were more people in the elevator didn't make a fuss this time. Xiao Chang, do you know that fairy? Tian Soran asked curiously, you guys seem to be very familiar with each other. Could it be that you met the female protagonist in one of your missions? No, she's my sister's classmate. Xiao Chen said, last time she was bullied, I helped her out. However, I didn't expect her to be good at these things. Can she catch ghosts? Tian Soran asked. It's hard to say. Let's see. Xiao Chen felt that this person shouldn't be a ghost, but a Yin cultivator or an evil cultivator. However, he couldn't figure out the purpose of this person. She didn't harm anyone here. Could it be that she was just scaring people for fun? Songning City, Xiao family. Wang Tietio finally realized that something was wrong. He didn't see Xiao Chen for a day, and no one mentioned him. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. Xiao Xiao and Tang Tang were also there, but he didn't see where Xiao Chen went. When he asked Wang Fantian, he didn't know either. If it was in the past when Xiao Chen was at home, Wang Fantian would always say a few words, but now he didn't even see him. I say, old man Xiao, where's your grandson? Wang Tietio finally couldn't help but ask during dinner, isn't he coming to eat? I don't know. He doesn't tell us when he comes and goes. He does whatever he wants to do. Are you asking the wrong person? Xiao Yuanshan was stunned and said. What do you mean? You didn't see him either? Wang Tietio suddenly felt that something was wrong. He frowned and said, so, he's not at home? I'm not sure. Anyway, we didn't see him. Xiao Yuanshan ate and didn't seem to care at all. You guys. Wang Tietio was instantly enraged. Run. Exploding heavens. Go and look for Xiao Chen. Find out where he went. Oh. Okay. Wang Benben was eating. Halfway through his meal, he stood up and walked out obediently. Wang Fantian, on the other hand, held his bowl and ate as he walked. Wang Tietio saw this and couldn't help but scold, Benben, can't you learn from your son? Look at him, he's looking for someone to eat and you're not eating. Wang Benben wanted to cry but had no tears. This was so impolite. But thinking about it, his father was such a reckless person, and so was his son. No wonder Wang Tietio liked Wang Fantian. Wang Benben had no choice but to hold his bowl and eat as he walked. The two of them split up to look for Xiao Chen. They went around the Xiao family a few times but didn't see Xiao Chen. They could only go back to the dining room again. Father, I didn't see Xiao Chen. He shouldn't be at home. Wang Benben said. Grandpa, the boss is gone. He must be hiding from us. I think we should go back. It's not like we can do anything here. Although Wang Fantian also wanted Xiao Chen to be his brother-in-law, if Xiao Chen wasn't willing, they couldn't force it, right? They could only do it step by step. Go back? No, I don't believe that Xiao Chen won't go home. Let's wait here. I want to see if he can hide from us for a long time. Wang Tietio slammed the table. Suddenly, the soup splashed on his face, damn it. Wang Tietio wiped his face, stood up, and left the dining room angrily. Wang Benben quickly followed. But Wang Fantian didn't seem to notice. He was eating with big mouthfuls of food. Then, he took a look and said, I'll eat some more. Xiao Yuanshan looked at Wang Fantian and couldn't help but shake his head. He was really heartless. I don't know how that girl is. Huh? Xiao Yuanshan suddenly thought, is that Lan Xinxin also heartless? That's why no one wanted her, so she relied on Xiao Chen. Now that he thought about it, it was very possible. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but fall into deep thought. If such a girl came home carelessly, he didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Everyone, eat. Don't worry about him. He can stay as long as he wants. Anyway, our Xiao family is rich and willful. Xiao Yuanshan waved his hand, signaling everyone to continue eating. Of course, Xiao Yuanshan was a little curious about Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang staying here. He vaguely knew some of the relationship between Xiao Chen and Tang Tang, but Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan were husband and wife. Yu Xiaochuan, who was neither a man nor a woman, seemed to be quite strange. He didn't object to Tang Tang and Xiao Chen being together, and he even called himself Xiao Chen's little brother. The key was that he was very strong. The powerful Quishan sect disciple was killed by him. So, since he was willing to stay here, then it was a good thing. It could also be considered as improving the strength of the Xiao family. As for Tang Tang, he would treat her as his granddaughter-in-law. After dinner, Tang Tang said good night to Xiao Yuanshan and returned to her residence with Yu Xiaochuan. Sister Tang Tang, when do you think brother Xiao will come back? Yu Xiaochuan asked after entering the house. How would I know? Tang Tang said snappily, can't you contact him yourself? Ask him yourself. I'm afraid that if I ask too much, Brother Xiao will hate me. Yu Xiaochuan was a little shy. I can't be bothered with you. Tang Tang glanced at Yu Xiaochuan and returned to her room. Yu Xiaochuan hummed a little song and began to change in front of the mirror. He felt that he had the potential to be a trap. He would look very beautiful if he dressed up. Back in the room, Tang Tang lay on the bed with a sad heart. Her eyes were a little empty. She looked at the ceiling and sighed slightly. Tang Tang, have you thought it through? A voice suddenly sounded, but there was no one in the room. Tang Tang did not look in the direction of the voice. She was still lying on the bed, as if she was not interested. At this time, in Tang Tang's room, a shadow appeared, gradually solidified, and turned into a woman in black. The woman in black was covered with a black veil, and her face could not be seen clearly. But judging from her curvy body, she should be a beauty, but it was hard to say. You're here? Tang Tang said. Yes, Tang Tang, have you thought it through? If you don't agree, then your mother will really be in danger. The woman in black said faintly, only if you replace her can she be safe, and your parents can leave safely. What evidence do you have to prove that what you said is true? Tang Tang did not look at her, but said, the last time you came, you said that my parents did not actually die, but were taken to Wulin, but why should I believe you? Just based on a photo? Now the technology of Photoshop is so advanced, you can make it at will. I knew you wouldn't believe it easily. The woman giggled and said, this time, I've brought the blood of your parents, 1 bottle for each of you. If you don't believe me, you can take it to the hospital for a DNA test to see if it's your parents. Oh. Tang Tang was shocked. This time, she finally became energetic, not as absent-minded as before. She sat up directly from the bed. Chapter 733. In the past few days, Tang Tang was a little absent-minded. A woman who claimed to be from the poison sect of the martial arts world told her that her parents didn't die but were taken away by the poison sect. Her mother was born with a poisonous body and became a drug-testing tool of the poison sect. The current situation was that one kind of poison was suppressing another kind of poison. Her body was full of poison. If this continued, she would die. At that time, Tang Tang was very shocked. This was very similar to her previous situation. Could it be that her body was similar to her mother's? However, she didn't really believe the woman's words. She just asked a few questions and the woman answered them one by one. She even showed Tang Tang the photos of her parents. I don't need to lie to you. You are born with a poisonous body. With a body like yours, you are born for poison. If I don't take you away, you won't live long. On the contrary, if you go with me, you will live a little longer, the woman said faintly. Impossible. The poison in my body has already been expelled. How can it still be? Tang Tang immediately retorted. What you expelled is just some poison on the surface. In fact, your whole body is a poisonous body. You need all kinds of poison to survive. Otherwise, you will die very miserably. The woman smiled. Previously, I don't know what kind of expert you found, but he helped you detoxify once and extended your lifespan. However, this is only a temporary solution, not a permanent solution. Your physique is still there. Aren't you just threatening and tempting me to go with you? Tang Tang actually believed some of the woman's words. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been in such a bad mood these days. She wouldn't have taken the initiative to propose a breakup with Xiao Chen. Although Xiao Chen's current strength was high, he couldn't compete with the poison sect behind the woman. After all, listening to the woman's words, the poison sect didn't belong to the outer martial arts world. Instead, it was a real inner martial arts sect. If she told Xiao Chen about this strength and caused some trouble, it would be equivalent to harming Xiao Chen. Therefore, Tang Tang didn't say it. She just found some inexplicable reasons to break up with Xiao Chen. However, after hearing what Xiao Chen said, her heart softened. In fact, she didn't want to break up with him. She thought that even if she left, she would leave quietly. When the time came, she could just pretend that she disappeared. You can understand it that way. The woman nodded non-committally after hearing Tang Tang's words. So, what's your decision? Leave it here. I'll go to the lab tomorrow and give you a reply. Tang Tang said weakly, if I go, can't I come back? Will he die there? Yes, if you can find the lost secret manual in the sect, not only will you not die, you will also become the strongest person in the sect. At that time, you will surpass everyone in the poison sect and become a poison master of a generation, shocking the martial world. The woman said, you are no longer a tool that can only be used by the sect to test medicine. I've become a hired thug for the sect, haven't I? Tang Tang was a little dispirited. At that time, you won't be someone else's fighter, you'll be the master of the sect. Even in the martial world, you'll be the master. Your name, Tang Tang, will shock the entire martial world and make people tremble with fear. The woman tempted. Hee, in fact, it's all built on the premise that the secret manual is found, right? Tang Tang said with a sarcastic smile, if I found it, my mother would have become a poison master and wouldn't have been tortured to death by you. And I put it nicely, saying that I have the possibility of becoming a poison master, but in fact, I'm just going to test poison, right? You can understand it that way. The woman didn't deny it, anyway, you can think about it yourself. Our sect is still very open-minded. It's all voluntary. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. Anyway, you'll die here. Why not go back with me? You can live a little longer and save your mother. TSK, you make it sound nice. Then, wasn't my mother forcibly taken away by you? Tang Tang said disdainfully. Not really. Your father took your mother to seek medical treatment, and they took the initiative to stay, the woman said with a smile. Oh. Tang Tang was stunned. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt that the woman was quite reasonable and straightforward. She didn't have any intention of forcing her. When she was young, Tang Tang did hear that her biological parents never came back after they left. It was as if they had died. She was adopted by her uncle's family, so her life in the Tang family became like this. When she was beautiful, she was used for a marriage alliance. When she became ugly, she was chased out of the family, and no one stood up for her. So, it's fine if I don't go? Tang Tang asked. Yes, but you have to keep what I'm telling you a secret. The woman warned faintly, the martial world is very wary of our poison sect. They're afraid that we'll make a comeback and restore the glory of 100 years ago. At that time, our poison sect was in the limelight. No one could match us. We were the true #1 sect in the world. So, even if you don't come, you have to keep it a secret. I know that. You told me about this last time, but I didn't tell anyone. Tang Tang nodded. I'll think about it. Alright, then I'll be leaving. Leave the blood here too. You can judge for yourself if it's real or not. After the woman said that, she turned into a shadow and disappeared from the room. Tang Tang sighed and looked at the 2 small bottles on the table. She was in a daze. That night, Su Chuxia and Tian Souring were asleep. Xiao Chen moved a small stool and sat at the door of the room. He faced the elevator and wanted to see what was wrong with it. However, Xiao Chen looked at the elevator. It seemed to be working. When no one was riding it, it wouldn't move at all. It was parked on the original floor. Just as Xiao Chen was bored to death, someone called for the elevator again. The elevator returned to the first floor, and after a while, it began to rise slowly. However, this time, Xiao Chen was shocked, because every time the elevator reached a floor, it would stop. Xiao Chen observed for a moment. The second floor, the third floor, the fourth floor. It kept stopping until it reached Xiao Chen's floor. The elevator door opened, but Xiao Chen was stunned. He was shocked. This was because the person in the elevator let out a scream. Then, an unknown object flew toward Xiao Chen's head. It was thrown by the person in the elevator. Holy sh*t, Li Xian, are you crazy? Xiao Chen roared. Ah. It's you, Xiao Chang. When Li Xian heard the voice outside the elevator, she immediately heaved a sigh of relief. You scared me to death. I thought it was a female ghost. Do female ghosts look like me? Are you nearsighted? Xiao Chen threw away the things on his body. It was a pile of talismans. Fortunately, they were only talismans and there was no dog blood or chicken blood. Otherwise, he would have been in trouble. At this time, the elevator door was about to close. Xiao Chen quickly pressed the button to call for the elevator. The elevator door opened again and Li Xian ran out. I'm sorry, Xiao Chang. You sat here in the middle of the night and scared me. Why are you here? Don't you know that people can scare people to death? I was worried about you, so I came out to take a look. Xiao Chen said snappily, my good intentions are really unrequited. Ah. You're worried about me? Really? Li Xian was a little surprised. Didn't I tell you before that this female ghost is very powerful and that you can't deal with it? Although your strength in the human world is very strong, it's useless against ghosts. Oh, I actually couldn't sleep, so I came out to cool off. Xiao Chen shrugged and didn't argue much. He couldn't explain that he wasn't an ordinary cultivator, but a cultivator. Then quickly help me pick up these talismans. I'm going to continue to catch ghosts. Li Xian said as she picked up the talismans on the ground. Xiao Chen shook his head and helped her pick up the remaining talismans. Then, he said, why does your elevator stop at every floor? Oh, I pressed it on purpose. I wanted to see if there was anything outside each floor. Li Xian said, that female ghost fought with me once before. She knew that her spiritual power was on par with mine, so I was afraid that she wouldn't come out, so I went to look for her myself. Then you should be careful. Xiao Chen nodded. I wish you success. You don't have to look at my floor. With me here, the female ghost probably won't come. That's hard to say. Don't be so confident. If she thinks that you're easy to bully, she'll come looking for you. Li Xian reminded, you should go back to sleep. Wait for my triumphant return tomorrow morning. I'll go back in a while. Xiao Chen perfunctorily said. Li Xian didn't say much. She turned around and entered the elevator. Then, she continued to search floor by floor. Xiao Chen saw that she was full of confidence. He thought that this ghost had never harmed anyone before, so he was relieved. He turned around and returned to his room, leaving Li Xian to do whatever she wanted. He was also afraid that Li Xian would treat him as a ghost again. The night passed uneventfully. Early the next morning, Su Chuxia got up to go to the toilet. She saw Xiao Chen sitting cross-legged on the sofa and meditating. She didn't know what he was doing, so she asked, Xiao Chang, you didn't sleep. What are you doing? Did you catch that ghost? I don't know. Li Xian asked me to come back and said that she could handle it herself. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and said, I'll go out and take a look. Su Chuxia nodded. Xiao Chen pushed open the door and walked out. There was no one in the corridor, and the elevator did not continue to operate. Xiao Chen called the elevator and went downstairs. He planned to go downstairs to take a look. As soon as he walked out of the unit door, he saw Li Xian sitting on the bench at the door with disheveled hair. There were already many people standing around her. There were owners and property management staff. Fairy, how is it? Has the female ghost been subdued? A staff member waited for Li Xian to finish a cup of hot water before asking carefully. Don't mention it. That female ghost is very smart. She actually dared to play with me. She was very fast. After I found her, I chased her upstairs and downstairs, but I couldn't catch up in the end. I was exhausted. Li Xian said with a haggard expression, in the end, I had no choice but to run out and rest. Chapter 734. Xiaochen happened to hear Li Xianer's words. He was speechless. How could she be an immortal to catch ghosts with her mediocre skills? Fortunately, the ghost didn't mean to hurt people. She just wanted to tease everyone. Even Li Xianer was teased. In the end, she didn't do anything to her. If it were an ordinary person, they would have been scared to death. Although Li Xianer was a little timid, she was fine. Then, when can we catch this female ghost? The property staff asked anxiously. Immortal, you also know that this female ghost has affected the normal lives of the residents. I will try my best. Don't worry, I will take measures to chase and intercept her today. Li Xianer sighed. I don't have enough spiritual power now. If I could fly on a sword, would be able to catch up with her. Ah. Is there really a legendary flying sword? The property staff was shocked after hearing this. Immortals sect is really powerful. Those who can fly are the legendary immortals, right? Yes, she can really fly. The other property owners also sighed when they heard this, but they were more confident in Li Xianer. They felt that it was only a matter of time before she subdued the female ghost. As for Xiaochen, he was very shocked. Flying on a sword, isn't that a skill of cultivators? Is this Li Xianer also a cultivator? Is it true? Could she really be the successor of some ancient sect? However, there were too many people now. It was not appropriate for him to ask in detail. He just stood aside and listened quietly. Although Li Xianer failed to catch the ghost yesterday, the property owners were suddenly full of confidence after hearing a few words from her. Those who could fly on a sword were the legendary immortals that could only be seen on TV. Now, even if Li Xianer had not reached that level, she was still the successor of an immortal sect. She must have a way to subdue the demon. Li Xianer went to rest, and Xiaochen returned to Su Chuxia's house. At this time, Tian Wangchuan also woke up and was washing up. When he saw Xiaochen, he asked, "Honey, how is it? Did you catch the ghost?" "No, that Li Xianer is not very reliable. Let's not care about her and let her do whatever she wants." Xiaochen saw that Li Xianer was fine today, and he was sure that the ghost didn't mean to hurt her, so he didn't worry anymore. He didn't even bother to look at it tonight, and let her catch it herself. When Su Chuxia and Tian Souring heard this, they knew that Li Xianer was in trouble. Tian Souring, on the other hand, was very happy. That Wu Lixing who asked me for a house is probably regretting it now. Tian Wangshuo's words were not false at all. Wu Lixing was really in a dilemma at this moment. He originally thought that the immortal master hired by the property management company was very powerful and could capture the ghost with just one move. But after waiting for a day, there was no result. The next morning, the ghost was not caught. Instead, Li Xianer's hair was disheveled and she looked very miserable. Although Li Xianer's words were full of confidence, and the other property owners believed her, Wu Lixing's heart was very gloomy. In his line of work, he often encountered haunted houses. Some of his friends introduced experts to do the job, but very few of them were effective. In the end, they all failed. If haunted houses were really that easy to crack, people like him who specialized in real estate would be rich. Therefore, he was very worried about Li Xianer's final result. He didn't rush Tian Wangshuo that day, and he planned to wait and see tomorrow. Nothing out of the ordinary happened that day. Xiaochen played video games with the two beauties at home. Su Chuxia was an electronics enthusiast, so she had the latest gaming console at home. The three of them had a lot of fun playing games. At night, Xiaochen cooked some food. He didn't go out, and the two girls went to bed early. Xiaochen sat on the sofa and heard the sound of the elevator coming from the corridor outside. He thought that Li Xianer was working again. In the end, the sound continued until the second half of the night. The elevator went back and forth, but there seemed to be no result. If the ghost was caught, the elevator would stop running. Finally, when it was almost midnight, Xiaochen suddenly heard a hurried knocking on the door. It gave him a fright. The lights in Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshuo's room were also turned on. Obviously, they had been woken up. Who is it? Xiaochen walked over and asked. Open the door. It's me, Li Xiener. Let me hide. It was indeed Li Xiener's voice outside the door, but it was a little different. It seemed like she was in a state of extreme fear. Xiaochen opened the door. He seemed to feel something chasing behind Li Xiener, but it stopped for a moment. Xiaochen frowned and looked into the distance, but he didn't see anything. The ghost must have retreated. Li Xiener, what are you doing? It's the middle of the night. Xiaochen let her in. As soon as Li Xiener came in, she couldn't care less about her image. She sat on the ground and panted heavily. The ghost is very powerful. Her power is higher than mine. My methods didn't work on her. Instead, it angered her. At first, I was chasing her, but now she is chasing me. Li Xiener said hurriedly, I didn't expect there to be such a powerful ghost. I've never encountered one before. You've caught ghosts before? Xiaochen was slightly stunned. Looking at her coarse appearance, she didn't seem like a powerful person. Yes, but they are all little ghosts that haven't turned into humans. They are wandering ghosts. Li Xiener said, those are easier to deal with, but this female ghost has already formed her own will. I'm no match for her. Xiaochen was a little speechless. The kind that Li Xiener was talking about should be a very low-level primordial spirit. In fact, cultivators didn't have primordial spirits. Other people or animals also had primordial spirits. However, this primordial spirit wasn't called a primordial spirit, but a soul. After a person or an animal died, if there was an obsession, it could not dissipate for a long time. However, it would not cause any harm to the person. It would only affect the person's brain waves and create some illusions. This kind of soul was very easy to deal with. However, those primordial spirits that had formed their own will were not so easy to deal with. However, this kind of situation was rare. It's still my Dao technique that's not good enough. I have to hurry up and cultivate. Li Xiener clenched her fists. One day, I must subdue this female ghost. I wish you success. Xiaochen didn't say too much and just wished her well. Oh right, don't tell Xiao Xiao about my identity. Oh right, you can't tell her that you're her boyfriend, but you're flirting with two beautiful girls here. You definitely won't dare to tell her. Li Xiener looked curiously at Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshuan, who came out of the bedroom and yawned. However, you're quite strong to sleep with two of them. I don't think you're from the 5 Elements faction. You're from the 8 Trigrams faction. Xiaochen rolled his eyes. These two are my friends. They invited me here because of the haunting. Are you thinking too much? Honey, what's wrong? In the middle of the night? Tian Wangshuan walked over while rubbing his eyes in a daze. When Li Xiener heard this, she looked at Xiaochen with disdain and curled her lips. Although she didn't say it, the meaning was clear. Xiaochen's lie had been exposed. Xiaochen really didn't know how to explain. How could it be such a coincidence that he was slapped in the face on the spot? This Tian Wangshuan. Ahem. Xiaochen coughed twice. Let's not talk about this. I'll keep it a secret for you. And then I'll keep it a secret for you too. This is our little secret. Li Xiener blinked her eyes. Hee, okay. Xiaochen nodded. He could only treat it as a secret. Suddenly, he thought of something and asked, oh right, you said that you can use sword kinesis flight in the future? Is that true? Of course it's true. Li Xiener nodded solemnly. Although our 5 Elements sect has declined like the other ancient sects, we still have some inheritance. I'm the 82nd generation successor. The mantra I'm practicing now is different from you martial cultivators. I'm cultivating immortality. Really? Xiaochen was extremely shocked. Why would I lie to you? Li Xiener said proudly. Don't you think I'm very beautiful now? This. What does it have to do with this? Xiao Chen was stunned. Actually, I wasn't so beautiful before. My skin wasn't so good either. However, after cultivating immortality, my physique has changed greatly. I'll soon surpass Xiao Xiao. Li Xianer was proud. Otherwise, that person wouldn't have come to tease me that day. Xiao Chen didn't know what to say. Li Xianer was really narcissistic. He just asked, since you're so powerful and you're an immortal, why didn't you punish the person who teased you? My strength is still too low. Li Xianer said with some embarrassment. However, the level of immortal cultivators is different from that of martial artists. I'll surpass him in all aspects in the future. Then what's your current level? Xiao Chen asked. I said, you have to keep it a secret because you saved me. I think you're a good person, so I don't want to lie to you. However, you can't tell others about these things. Before I become strong, I'm afraid that someone will harm me. Although Li Xianer was a bit narcissistic, she seemed to trust Xiao Chen more. Maybe Xiao Chen saved her before. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. Tian Suruan and Su Chuxia only came out to take a look before going back to sleep. They could tell from Li Xianer's expression that she had failed to catch a ghost and was here to seek refuge. They were too tired to ask more questions. Therefore, when Li Xianer said these words, they weren't there. If they were, Li Xianer probably wouldn't have said it. Li Xianer nodded and started to chant the mantra. However, at this moment, Xiao Chen was really shocked. This was a familiar aura. Xiao Chen had only seen it on that super invincible dog in the universe. First level of qi refinement? Xiao Chen looked at Li Xianer in shock. Huh? You know about qi refinement? Li Xianer also looked at Xiao Chen in shock. She didn't expect to hear these words from Xiao Chen's mouth. Chapter 735. On TV, in novels, everywhere. Is it strange that I know? Xiao Chen also realized that he had said too much, so he shrugged and explained. Oh, no wonder. Li Xianer nodded and said, so you guessed it. Yes, I am an immortal master at the first level of the qi refining stage. My real strength is equivalent to a warrior at the peak of the first level of the inner strength, so I am not a match for that big man. Xiao Chen was not thinking about Li Xianer's strength now, but that she was actually a cultivator. Although her strength was low, she was the first cultivator that Xiao Chen had met in this world. Whether it was immortal or cultivation, it was just a name. Although Li Xianer's strength was low, she did indeed embark on a different path. So she was not wrong to say that she could fly on a sword. Then what level do you need to be able to fly on a sword? Xiao Chen asked. Maybe I need to build my foundation. Li Xianer said, hey, I'm just saying, our 5 elements sect has been passed down for so long, but there is no immortal master who has successfully built his foundation. My master is only an immortal master at the 10th level of the qi refining stage. What? You have a master at the 10th level of the qi refining stage? Xiao Chen was shocked. Yes, without a master, how can I cultivate? Do you think it is so easy for mortals to cultivate? Li Xianer looked at Xiao Chen strangely. Even if you are a martial artist or a devil cultivator, don't you also have a master? Oh, then what about your master? Xiao Chen did not expect that there were other cultivators in this world, and there was more than one. She didn't build her foundation. Her life was over, and she passed away. Li Xianer was a little sad. Master has lived for 300 years. Oh. Does she have any fellow disciples from the same sect? What about you? Do you? Xiao Chen asked again. No, in our 5 elements sect, there is only one disciple. Li Xianer shook her head. Then she doesn't have a cultivation companion? Xiao Chen was relieved, but still asked worriedly. We cultivators are different from other cultivators. We have a long life. How can we find an ordinary person to be our cultivation companion? If the other person dies of old age, it will affect our Taoist foundation and Taoist heart, and it will be difficult to advance. Li Xianer said, so you don't try to seduce me, I won't fall for it. Pfft. When Xiaochen heard the first half of what she said, it seemed to make sense. However, when he heard the second half, he almost knelt down. How did it become him trying to seduce her? Li Xianer was too full of herself. Li Xianer is too much. Don't think I don't know that you're such a playboy. You'll definitely drool over me. Of course, that's not the main point. You've asked so many questions about immortal cultivators. You must want me to teach you immortal cultivation, right? Li Xianer looked at Xiaochen as if she had seen through him. No need. If I want to fix it, I can fix it myself, Xiaochen said. TSK, you will definitely be tempted. Any normal person will be tempted. You can live for at least 300 years in one go. Li Xianer said, I don't believe that you don't want to. So what if I want to? So what if I don't? You won't teach me anyway. Xiaochen shrugged. I really can't do anything about it. The rule of our 5 elements sect is that only one disciple can pass down his legacy. I can't teach you that. Li Xianer shook her head. Then do you know? Are there any other cultivators in the world? Xiaochen asked. Of course not. If there was, my master wouldn't have to live alone for the rest of his life. Li Xian sighed, sigh, what a waste of my beauty. I can't even find a Tao companion. Xiaochen slapped his forehead. Then you can just randomly pick one. Your master is at the 10th layer of the Qi refinement realm, and you're only at the 1st layer. You won't be able to live for long. Xiaochen reminded. But I'm only 16 years old. When I'm 60 years old, maybe I'll be at the 10th level. Li Xian said confidently, at that time, I won't be afraid of this female ghost. At that time, this female ghost will probably be killed by you. Xiaochen was speechless. Nonsense. Li Xian glanced at Xiaochen. She was quite flirtatious, but Xiaochen didn't dare to look at her for too long. He was afraid that Li Xian would falsely accuse him of liking her. Will you continue to catch ghosts tomorrow? Xiaochen changed the topic. No, I have to go back. Li Xian said, tomorrow, I will talk to the property management company. I can't deal with this female ghost for the time being. Well, I wish you good luck. Set foot in the 10th level of the Qi refining stage as soon as possible. Xiaochen said. Definitely no problem. Li Xian said, at that time, if you are still alive, I will treat you to a meal. I don't have many friends. You are one of them. Then I am honored. Xiaochen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yeah, if you didn't save me and I think you are a good person, I wouldn't say this to you. You can't harm me, but it's hard to say for others. One must always be on guard against others. You are my best friend. Li Xian said, you are the first to know about my matters. By the way, Li Xian, speaking of this, I still have to remind you. Although I saved you, you shouldn't tell me so much. Xiaochen said solemnly, after all, many people will covet the cultivation of immortality. I don't have the intention to harm you, but I can't guarantee that others won't forget about righteousness at the sight of profit. Even if I saved you before, I will kill you the next moment. Ah. Li Xian was stunned, and then she thought about it. So, don't tell anyone about this matter in the future. As for your identity as a fairy, others won't think much about it. They will only think that you are a fraud. Xiaochen said. You are a fraud. Li Xian was a little dissatisfied. I am the real deal. However, you are right. I was a little careless before. I won't say it again. Then I am relieved. Xiaochen was actually afraid that the matter of immortality would spread. After all, he was also a cultivator. If it spread, it might be disadvantageous to him. While they were talking, it was already dawn outside. Li Xian also said goodbye and went to the property company to explain the situation. When Li Xian went downstairs, she was surrounded by the staff of the property company who had arrived early. They hurriedly asked, "Fairy, how is it? Did you catch the ghost?" "No." Li Xian shook her head. "My spiritual power is still not enough. The other party is too powerful. I am sorry, I can't do anything." Ah. The staff of the property company was a little dumbfounded. Li Xian was still very famous in the industry. Many haunted houses had been cracked, and she was highly respected. They didn't expect her to have no way. Did that mean that there was really no way? The onlookers were also disappointed when they heard Li Xian's words. They thought that it would definitely be done this time, but they didn't expect that even Li Xian couldn't do anything. Wu Lixing was also among the owners. At this moment, his eyelids couldn't help but twitch. After he went back, he also checked on Li Xian's matter and found that Li Xian was really a powerful mage. She had a good reputation in the industry, so he also had some confidence. He didn't expect that his confidence would be shattered in an instant. Seeing Li Xian get into the car of the property company, Wu Lixing hesitated for a moment and called Tian Wangshou's phone. "Hello, Miss Tian. I am Wu Lixing," said Wu Lixing. "Mr. Wu, it's only Sunday. It's not Monday yet, right? Are you in a hurry to take back the house?" How could Tian Wangshou not guess Wu Lixing's thoughts? Li Xian probably failed, so he didn't want the house anymore. However, she pretended not to know and asked seriously. No, I suddenly remembered that I don't have enough money on hand. I don't want it anymore. I'm telling you that I have already taken the things away. You can take back the house at any time," said Wu Lixing quickly. "Oh. You really don't want it anymore?" asked Tian Wangshou. "No." Wu Lixing said affirmatively. "Well, then I will go to apply for the property certificate." "I can't change it then," Tian Wangshou reminded him. "Okay, no problem." Wu Lixing breathed a sigh of relief. He was afraid that Tian Wangshou would pester him. Although he had already sold the house, if Tian Wangshou kept asking to cancel the house, then he would be annoyed. In his opinion, Tian Wangshou must have received the news that the property management company invited Li Xian to exorcise the ghost, so she hoarded a lot of property. In his opinion, it was also opportunistic. However, now that Li Xian had failed, Tian Wangshou had all these houses in her hands. It would be strange if she didn't want to get rid of them as soon as possible. He didn't expect Tian Wangshou to be so happy and agree directly. Shaking his head, he felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out the reason. Wu Lixing took the things and left. In the middle of the night, Xiaochen went out. He didn't need to observe anymore. Li Xian had already observed for him before. The conclusion was that this female ghost might not be willing to hurt people, so Xiaochen wouldn't take too drastic measures. He planned to figure it out first. Originally, he wanted to catch it and refine it into a second demon to accompany little demonin. Just like Li Xian, Xiaochen took the elevator from the first floor. At every floor, he stopped for a moment, then continued to go up. Finally, he reached the top floor. He didn't find anything wrong. Xiaochen frowned slightly. When Li Xian took the elevator, the female ghost appeared, but he didn't encounter it even once when he took the elevator. He didn't even encounter it normally. Is this female ghost afraid of me? Does she know that I'm powerful? Feeling strange, Xiaochen decided not to take the elevator. He took the stairs, but this time, he didn't walk around like before. Instead, he stopped at every floor and stopped in front of two houses for a while. On the 24th floor, Xiaochen stopped in front of a door. The corridor was dark, and the peephole of the door mirror on the door was also dark. These two houses hadn't been occupied yet. The plastic film on the door had not been torn off, and there were a few overdue notices on the door. Logically, there shouldn't be anyone here, but Xiao Chen felt an extremely gloomy aura. Chapter 736. After listening for a while, he didn't hear any sound, but Xiao Chen's subconscious was very dignified. He felt that there was something wrong here. After thinking about it, he walked forward and started knocking on the door. Dang dang dang. However, after knocking for a long time, no one answered, and there was no other movement. If it weren't for Xiao Chen believing in his own perception, he would have left at this time. However, he didn't leave. He knocked for a while, pretending to turn around and leave. However, when he bypassed the corridor, he took out his flying sword and flew back along the ceiling. This angle couldn't be seen from inside the house. His whole body was directly suspended above the anti-theft door. 10 minutes passed, and there was no movement. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Just when Xiao Chen was wondering if his senses were wrong, he suddenly heard a faint click sound. It was the sound of high heels. Xiao Chen's heart suddenly trembled. There really was a problem. However, he remained calm and didn't act rashly. He continued to show off his wealth silently in the sky. Finally, after a while, the anti-theft door was gently opened. In the darkness, Xiao Chen could still see clearly with the moonlight outside. A woman walked out from inside. The woman's figure was very thin, and the yin energy on her body was very heavy. After she came out, she looked around and didn't see anyone. Then, she carefully closed the door and walked in the direction of the corridor. This woman's figure seemed to be a little familiar to Xiao Chen, but because of the angle, he couldn't see the woman's appearance. However, he quietly followed behind the woman. He flew close to the ceiling without making any sound, so the woman in front of him didn't notice him at all. He saw that the woman came to the door of the elevator and pressed the elevator button. However, she didn't wait for the elevator. Instead, she turned directly into the stairwell and began to go downstairs. Although she was wearing high heels, the woman's speed was very fast. Even when she didn't want to make a sound, there was no sound when she walked. Xiao Chen suspected that the previous sound of high heels was deliberately made by the woman. Her purpose was to make sure that there was no one at the door. This way, if there was movement at the door, she could completely not open the door. Just a sound couldn't prove that there must be someone in the room. It might be another sound. The woman went downstairs and continued to press the elevator button. Then, she continued to run downstairs. This made Xiao Chen a little dumbfounded. This woman was like a child playing a prank. It turned out that the elevator automatically operated like this. With her extremely fast figure and speed, she ran down floor by floor. It was probably the same when she came up. She really didn't feel tired at all. Regardless of whether there was anyone or not, running for the whole night was really unbearable. Xiao Chen was flying above her, but she did not notice him at all. Indeed, it was as Xiao Chen had guessed. She started from the first floor and continued to press the elevator button, running up floor by floor. Xiao Chen was impressed by her spirit. Xiao Chen followed her just like that, watching her go up and down to see what she was up to. After doing this for the whole night, regardless of whether there was anyone or not, Xiao Chen was a little tired from flying. Upstairs and downstairs, Xiao Chen followed the woman for a few laps. Suddenly, the woman stopped because she finally found a problem. She also felt that she seemed to be followed by something. After the woman stopped, she suddenly turned around, but she didn't see anything. The woman was a little confused. She looked around again, but she still didn't see anything special, so she breathed a sigh of relief and continued to run upstairs. Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. Why didn't this woman look up? Didn't she know that there might be people flying in the sky? Did she have to follow behind her? However, under normal thinking, it was understandable to think like this. After all, how many people could fly? The woman might have been vigilant in her heart. After running up a floor, she stopped again and turned her head to look back, but she still didn't see anything. The woman seemed to be a little puzzled. She raised her head and thought about something, but when she looked up, she found Xiao Chen floating in the sky. Ah! The woman let out a sharp scream and was so scared that she fell to the ground. Her face was pale, and she pointed at Xiao Chen, unable to say a word. It seemed that she was very frightened. Xiao Chen was speechless. Is this a female ghost? Why is it that when a ghost sees a human, she is scared to the ground? I say, Nye Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Going up and down in the middle of the night, playing with the elevator endlessly. Are you addicted? Xiao Chen finally recognized who this person was. It turned out to be Nye Xiaoyu, the Yin cultivator who had saved his life before. Ah, who are you? How do you know me? Nye Xiaoyu's eyes widened. At this moment, she also saw clearly what Xiao Chen looked like, but she didn't know him. When she heard that Xiao Chen could call out her name, she was very shocked. Are you kidding me? You are a female ghost. I should be afraid of you. Why do you seem to be afraid of me? Am I that scary? Looking at Nye Xiaoyu's trembling face, Xiao Chen didn't know what to say. It was really a failure for a ghost to be like her. How can you fly? Nye Xiaoyu looked at Xiao Chen in the sky. Her intuition told her that this person in front of her was very powerful, and she was no match for him at all. Nye Xiaoyu, you really don't know me? Xiao Chen frowned and said calmly, back then, I saved you because of your kindness and didn't kill you. I didn't expect that you would hide here and scare the innocent residents. What are you thinking? Do you think it's fun, or do you want to hurt people? You? Nye Xiaoyu was slightly stunned. Then she realized that Xiao Chen's voice was a little familiar. She suddenly remembered. You are my savior? I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you because you weren't wearing a mask. Xiao Chen was wearing a white fox mask, so it was normal that Nye Xiaoyu couldn't recognize him. Alright, let's not talk about useless things. What are you doing? If you don't explain yourself today, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Xiao Chen said coldly as he looked at Nye Xiaoyu. I am sorry. Nye Xiaoyu lowered her head like a child who had done something wrong. She averted her gaze, not daring to look at Xiao Chen directly. She said carefully, I was controlled again. Pfft. Cough, cough. Xiao Chen looked at Nye Xiaoyu and almost coughed to death. Are you serious? How did you get controlled again? Didn't I tell you to hide? I didn't want to, but I was too stupid, and my primordial spirit was extracted while I was cultivating. In the end. Nye Xiaoyu said weakly. Tell me, what's going on? Xiao Chen sighed and couldn't blame her anymore. After all, her life was in someone else's hands, so it was understandable that she was forced to do something. Moreover, Xiao Chen knew that although Nye Xiaoyu could scare people, she had never really harmed anyone. She was a good ghost, so he didn't attack her directly. Instead, he let her explain the situation. I stayed in Lan City. It turned out that after Nye Xiaoyu stayed in Lan City, she didn't have much money on her and couldn't afford to stay in a hotel for a long time. So, she started looking around the city and found this residential area. Because this community used to be a graveyard, the yin qi was relatively heavy. Nye Xiaoyu planned to cultivate here. She did not dare to go to a crowded place, so she stayed in a group of buildings that had not been built yet. Anyway, she could find a floor with no one and secretly cultivate. Unexpectedly, Nye Xiaoyu's absorption of yin qi for cultivation was discovered by someone. The person who discovered it was the person who controlled Nye Xiaoyu now, Old Ghost of Shishan. This old ghost of Shishan was a native of this graveyard. He built a house here and destroyed the graveyard, but this wasn't something he could stop. He could only choose a building with the strongest yin qi to live in, which was Su Chuxia's building. This was the center of the entire graveyard, so the yin qi was the strongest. Even so, because of the destruction of the building, the yin qi had decreased a lot. Therefore, there wasn't enough yin qi to use. Nye Xiaoyu suddenly got a share of the yin qi here, which naturally attracted Old Ghost of Shishan's attention. While Nye Xiaoyu was cultivating, he extracted her primordial spirit and made her his subordinate. The task that old ghost of Shishan gave Nies Xiaoyu was to find a way to get rid of all the residents in this building. After all, if there were too many people, the yang qi would be stronger, and it would disperse the yin qi. It wasn't easy for old ghost of Shishan to find such a good place, so he naturally didn't want to let others destroy it. It just so happened that he caught a helper like Nies Xiaoyu, so he asked her to do it. However, Nies Xiaoyu was still kind-hearted. She didn't want to harm others, so she could only scare the residents in this building to move away so that old ghost of Shishan could cultivate in peace. The house they were living in now was empty, and it hadn't been sold yet. After rumors of this building being haunted spread, no one paid attention to it, so old ghost of Shishan lived in it with peace of mind. Although Nies Xiaoyu was a yin cultivator, she was also a kind of cultivator. She could also sense danger. Xiao Chen was very powerful, and so was Xiaoma. So when they appeared, Nies Xiaoyu would avoid them. In the past few days, she had felt that something was wrong. However, because Xiao Chen didn't attack her, and it was only Li Xiener who attacked, Nies Xiaoyu had the illusion that Xiao Chen wouldn't attack her, so she came out to take action. Unexpectedly, she was caught by Xiao Chen. "Lead the way," Xiao Chen said lightly. Lead the way?" Nies Xiaoyu was stunned and said, "Lead the way for what?" "Take me to find that old ghost of Shishan and kill him. Take back your spirit, and then I'll help you buy a house here. You can cultivate slowly and don't get caught again. You're really worrying." Xiao Chen was a little speechless, but since he had encountered it, he couldn't ignore it. After all, Nies Xiaoyu was a very good person. Even if it was for Shen Jingshuan's sake, he couldn't ignore it. Shen Jingxian had asked Xiao Chen to save her. One day, if Shen Jingxian came back and asked about Nies Xiaoyu's whereabouts, it would be easy for him to explain. Chapter 737. Really? That's great, thank you so much. Nies Xiaoyu was overjoyed. You're really a good person. Just be careful in the future. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. How about this, I'll leave you my phone number. If you get caught again, call me secretly and I'll think of a way to save you. Xiao Chen couldn't do anything about a stupid ghost cultivator like Nies Xiaoyu. However, since she was so easily caught, Xiao Chen might as well help her deal with a few bad guys. Nies Xiaoyu nodded and suddenly thought of something. By the way, Shishan old ghost is very powerful. He's different from the previous Shishan old corpse. He's now a martial master evil cultivator at the peak of the 10th level. He's very powerful. Oh, only the peak of the 10th level. Xiao Chen nodded. Nies Xiaoyu was taken aback. However, looking at Xiao Chen who was flying on the sword, she immediately stopped worrying. It turned out that Xiao Chen was so powerful now. The last time she saw him, he was barely on par with the Shishan old corpse, but now it seemed that he had advanced again. The two of them returned to the previous door. Nies Xiaoyu took out the key and opened the door. Suddenly, a hoarse voice came from inside. Why are you back so early today? Didn't that *T fairy leave? I didn't have anyone, so I came back first. Nies Xiaoyu said carefully. Oh. The hoarse voice responded and suddenly shouted, Who? Who did you bring back? Shishan old ghost? I'm here to get rid of you. Come out and die. Xiao Chen said jokingly. He didn't expect this guy to be so sensitive. He immediately sensed that there was a stranger here. Shameless boasting. A black shadow flashed out of the inner room. You can control Nies Xiaoyu, that little trash with the 6th level of inner force. There's nothing to be proud of. In front of me, you can only die. Oh, let me ask you, why are you all called Shishan old X? Xiao Chen ignored the black shadow and asked, Are you from the Shishan family? Are you all in cahoots? Humph, a dead man doesn't need to know these things. The black shadow sneered. His whole body was shrouded in black fog, and he swept toward Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen patted the scabbard. The flying sword stepped on the ground and floated in the air. The shadow did not touch Xiaochen at all. Xiaochen knew that the black mist on these evil cultivators was highly toxic and corrosive. Xiaochen did not dare to touch it. Not bad. A Daoist expert? You can already use sword kinesis flight. Old Ghost Shishan was clearly more knowledgeable. Are you here to avenge the female Daoist nun from yesterday? It has nothing to do with you. Answer my question first, Xiaochen said. You're about to die, yet you still have so much to say. I really don't know how you can be so open-minded. Old Ghost Shishan laughed loudly and snorted. Oh, you're not going to say it? Xiaochen really couldn't do anything to this old Ghost Shishan. The black gas on his body surrounded him. In other words, even if Xiaochen attacked him, he would have to pay the price. Shishan's old ghost also clearly saw this, so he became somewhat fearless. He chased after Xiaochen with all his might as he sneered. F***ck, I think you really want to die. Xiaochen was angry. Do you think I can't do anything to you? If you could do anything to me, you would have already done it. Why are you running? Old Ghost Shishan said disdainfully. Nia Xiaoyu was very worried as she watched Xiaochen run away. Was Xiaochen not a match for him? Why did he keep running? Nethery, it's time for you to show your power. Go out. Teach him a lesson. Xiaochen suddenly ordered. Oh, master, I have a unique skill to deal with Yin cultivators. The flame of the underworld directly flew out and pounced on Old Ghost Shishan. Hey! What's this thing? Old Ghost Shishan was stunned. The next moment, he was surrounded by the flame of the underworld. He immediately let out a mournful scream. Ah, it hurts so much. Under the burning of the flame of the underworld, the black gas around him turned into black smoke and dissipated. Old Ghost Shishan's body quickly caught fire. This kind of flame from hell was the nemesis of Yin cultivators and ghost cultivators. This was a heaven and earth flame from hell that specialized in burning ghosts. Not to mention that Old Ghost Shishan was only a martial master, even a martial general would be finished at this moment. Ah! Old Ghost Shishan rolled on the ground in pain. He had no room to resist at all. Soon, he began to beg for mercy. Taoist priest, I was wrong. Don't kill me. Let me go. I was wrong, I was really wrong. Weren't you very arrogant just now? Didn't you say that I was about to die? Who will die? Xiaochen sneered. I'll die, I'll die. Old Ghost Shishan screamed in pain. Please, let me go. It's not easy for me to cultivate to this level. I'm just a small ghost cultivator. Taoist priest, please be magnanimous and let me go. Oh. Xiaoyu, did this old thing do anything to you? For example, have improper thoughts? Xiaochen asked. No. After he controlled me, he cultivated every day. Why don't you let him go? Nia Xiaoyu said. Let him go? How can it be so easy? Xiaochen said coldly. Why should I let him go? Xiaoyu, thank you for pleading for me. Taoist priest, I was wrong. Whatever you ask, I'll tell you. Don't burn me. If you burn me again, I'll die. Old Ghost Shishan repeatedly begged for mercy. Oh, Nethery, wait for a while. Xiaochen said to the flame of the underworld. The flame of the underworld disappeared with a whoosh and returned to Xiaochen's divine sense space. The flame on Old Ghost Shishan's body was also taken away. At this moment, Old Ghost Shishan was kneeling on the ground with his face covered in dirt. Xiaochen had asked her to teach Old Ghost Shishan a lesson. He didn't say that he would burn him to death, so she didn't use her full strength. Now answer the question. Xiaochen said. Oh. Well, West Mountain is a place. Its full name is West Star Mountain. It's a gathering place for some evil cultivators. Because of the rich heaven and earth spirit energy there, there's an ancient abandoned cave abode. Therefore, it was occupied by the Evil Cultivator Alliance, Old Ghost Shishan quickly replied. Oh. So you're a member of the Evil Cultivator Alliance? Xiaochen asked. Yes, the evil cultivators in our Evil Cultivator Alliance are all called Shishan or something. The addition of the word old is just to prove that we're old. However, because the overbearing words like old demon, old ghost, and old corpse have been used, some people are called West Mountain Evil Ghost, West Mountain Evil Ghost, and so on. Old Ghost Shishan said, actually, the benefit of joining this alliance is to hold a summit every year and then distribute some cultivation resources. There's no other use. If that's the case, then your value isn't that great, Xiaochen said after listening. Don't. It's very, very valuable. If I become the backbone of the Evil Cultivator Alliance, I can help Daoist Priest gather information. Daoist Priest wants to destroy our Evil Cultivator Alliance, right? Old Ghost Shishan quickly said. What does that have to do with me? Xiaochen was speechless. I'm just curious. Didn't you guys unite to suppress the evil cultivators? Old Ghost Shishan was stunned. I don't have that much free time. Xiaochen waved his hand. Well, I'll refine a ghost talisman devil for you to survive. However, I don't need you for the time being. You can stay here and be Nie Xiaoyu's bodyguard. Okay. When Old Ghost Shishan heard that he didn't have to die, he nodded repeatedly. Although refining a ghost talisman devil meant losing his freedom, it was still better than death. Xiaoyu, help me prepare some materials. It's still dark now, so we can go out, Xiaochen said to Nie Xiaoyu. Okay. Nie Xiaoyu nodded quickly. Xiaochen listed some things, and Nie Xiaoyu went out. Old Ghost Shishan sat on the ground with a depressed face. He knew that he was no match for Xiaochen. As long as Xiaochen used the fire of the underworld, he would die without a burial place. Therefore, although he was very unwilling, he had no other choice. He could only stabilize Xiaochen first and see if he could turn against him in the future when he became stronger. Anyway, the ghost talisman devil could be broken. Nie Xiaoyu came back soon. Obviously, she always helped Old Ghost Shishan buy some cultivation materials, so she had her own purchase channels. This time, Xiaochen didn't even bother to use the Samadhi True Fire. He directly asked Nethery to refine Old Ghost Shishan into the second ghost talisman devil. Because Nethery was there, he was ranked third, so Xiaochen gave him the nickname Little Ghost. Little Ghost. Xiaochen glanced at Old Ghost Shishan. Master, please tell me. Old Ghost Shishan looked like a slave, but in his heart, he was cursing Xiaochen. He secretly swore that one day, he must kill Xiaochen and take revenge. He, Old Ghost Shishan, was a very famous figure among the evil cultivators, but today he was defeated so badly. You stay here. Don't let Nie Xiaoyu's primordial spirit be captured again, do you hear me? Xiaochen ordered. Understood. Old Ghost Shishan nodded quickly. The Yin Qi here can be used for her cultivation, and the cultivation resources should be given to her first. Understand? Xiaochen continued. Understood. Although Old Ghost Shishan was unwilling, he didn't dare to disobey. Okay, then I'm leaving. Xiaochen said, don't scare people anymore. Yes. Old Ghost Shishan sent Xiaochen away respectfully, gritting his teeth. When he turned his head and saw Nie Xiaoyu, he was shocked. Senior Old Ghost, what's wrong? Nie Xiaoyu looked at him strangely. I have a toothache, but it's nothing. Old Ghost Shishan was not sure about the relationship between Nie Xiaoyu and Xiaochen. If the two of them were close, then his every move would fall into Xiaochen's eyes. If that happened, he would be dead. Also, call me Little Ghost from now on. I'm your subordinate now. Oh. Nie Xiaoyu was not used to it. When Xiaochen returned to Su Chuxia's residence, the sky was already bright, and they had also woken up. When they saw Xiao Chen coming back, they immediately asked, "Xiao Chang, where did you go? Did you go to catch ghosts?" Chapter 738. It's fine. There won't be any more ghosts in the future. Xiao Chen nodded. However, we might not be able to see the results in a short period of time. Sour, go talk to the open market and buy the rest of the houses that haven't been sold yet. However, don't sell the house in 3102 after you buy it. It's occupied. Don't tell me it's for a ghost. Tian Saori was stunned. Saori, will you die if you don't scare people? Su Chuxia glared at her and said angrily. It's really for a ghost. However, that ghost is now my subordinate. He's similar to Little Demonin. He's a ghost talisman demon. If you have any problems, you can go to him. It's that male ghost. I named him Little Ghost. Xiao Chen said, there's also a woman. She's my friend. She's very kind. It's really a ghost? Su Chuxia was stunned. He, how is it, Chuxia? My guess is very accurate. It seems that Xiao Chang and I are telepathic. As expected of a couple. Tian Saori said proudly. I really admire you. Su Chuxia was a little speechless. But it doesn't matter. If you're bullied, you can let the ghost help you. I guarantee that they'll be scared to death. Xiao Chen smiled. Okay. Su Chuxia blinked. Ever since I met you, I've met all kinds of weird people. It's really amazing, however, I might have to leave. Xiao Chen said. Xia Zhili had already urged him to go back for a meeting to study Pang Fengde and Wang Chaik. He could use this opportunity to attack Song Billion. You're leaving so soon. Tian Saori was a little disappointed. If I knew this, I wouldn't have let you catch the ghost so soon. I have work. I still need to go to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chen said. Saori, Xiao Chang has serious things to do. Don't keep pestering him. Haven't you guys already broken up? Are you done yet? Su Chuxia reminded. You're the one who broke up. We're just temporarily separated, okay? Tian Saori was not going to take it lying down. Right, Xiao Chang. Sort of, but I really have to go, Xiao Chen said. I'll leave in a while. In such a hurry? Su Chuxia knew that Xiao Chen would definitely leave, but she didn't expect it to be so soon. Yes, there are occasional things on that side. Xiao Chen nodded. All right then. If you're on vacation, come visit me when you're free. Sour really misses you. Su Chuxia nodded. I will, Xiao Chen replied. After bidding farewell to Su Chuxia and Tian Saori, Xiao Chen went to Tianfang province. The car was temporarily left in the parking lot downstairs. It was too far to drive, so it was faster to fly. Of course, Xiao Chen could also fly on his sword, but it would be weird to be seen flying in the sky in broad daylight. In the afternoon, Xiao Chen arrived at Tianfang province. After coming out of the airport, Xiao Chen was hailing a taxi. However, he did not expect that the number of taxis at the airport was very tight. There were no extra cars, and there was a long line of people waiting. Why are there so many people? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned, but he suddenly thought that the Chinese New Year had just ended. Many tourists who went out to play or returned to their hometown had returned. It was normal to have a large number of passengers. Although it was not impossible to run or fly to the headquarters of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it was too shocking. Just as Xiao Chen was looking back and forth, someone patted his back. Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was stunned. He turned around and found that it was Lan Xinxin. Then, Xiao Chen couldn't help but ask curiously, Lan Xinxin, how do you know me? My brother sent me a photo. I didn't expect you to be so handsome. Lan Xinxin said, I'm really sorry. Grandpa and the others brought you a lot of trouble, but they really didn't mean any harm. And, speaking of which, it was me who broke you. I heard from my brother that you haven't been intimate with your girlfriend at home these days. Sigh, it's all my fault. What? Xiao Chen was stunned. I didn't get intimate with her. In Wang Fontian's opinion, my thing is broken? What a wild imagination. Nothing. Let's not talk about this. By the way, do you want to take a taxi? Where are you going? Lan Xinxin thought that Xiao Chen was too embarrassed to talk about it, so she quickly changed the topic. She had also looked into this issue recently, but she also found that many men were more chauvinistic. Obviously, there was a problem, but they didn't go to treatment, because they were afraid that others would look down on them. So, in her opinion, Xiao Chen should be the same. He didn't want to admit that his thing was broken, but this made her feel even more guilty. She asked Wang Fantian about Xiao Chen's recent situation and found that Xiao Chen played with his sister every day. He didn't go to Tang Tang, so there must be something wrong with his body. Oh, I'm going to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, said Xiao Chen. Really? Aren't you the fake Yang Jiannan? How dare you go to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Aren't you afraid that they will arrest you? Lan Xinxin looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. Ugh, you have to keep it a secret for me. Xiao Chen realized that he had let it slip. He was now using his original face. Lan Xinxin nodded. You can rest assured that I won't say anything. Yang Jiannan was killed by me. I'm now pretending to be him. You won't harm me, right? Asked Xiao Chen. Of course not. I plan to take care of you for a lifetime. Why would I harm you? Lan Xinxin shook her head. Then I'll send you to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It's difficult to get a taxi here. My own car is stored in the airport parking lot. That's troublesome. Xiao Chen didn't refuse. In fact, to be honest, he had a good impression of Lan Xinxin, a somewhat silly girl. If it weren't for the Wang family's aggressiveness, the two of them would be good friends. But now, Xiao Chen was a little afraid of being with Lan Xinxin. He was afraid that the two of them would be entangled, and it would become more and more difficult to communicate with each other. He came to the parking lot with Lan Xinxin. Her car was a Beetle. Xiao Chen got in the car, and Lan Xinxin started the car and drove in the direction of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chen, will you be staying in Tianfang province in the future? Asked Lan Xinxin. I will be here often. Xiao Chen nodded. But don't tell your grandpa and the others, or else it will be troublesome. Don't worry. I won't say anything. Lan Xinxin smiled and said, I rarely communicate with them, but you can often look for me to hang out. Look for you? Hang out? Xiao Chen was slightly surprised. Yeah, in fact, you don't have to be embarrassed. You can ask me out on a date. We can also get a room and experiment a few times. Maybe you will. As Lan Xinxin said this, she blushed a little. Anyway, I won't despise you. Let's talk about this later. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. Then let's talk about it. Anyway, if you think it through, just call me, said Lan Xinxin. Xiao Chen didn't know what to say. Anyway, he felt that the Wang family was stubborn. If they weren't a family, they wouldn't enter the same door. Only Wang Benpai was different. Lan Xinxin's car came to the door of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chen took out Yang Jiannan's mask and put it on his face. Then, he infused qi into it. Under the effect of qi, the originally lifeless face suddenly became lively. Lan Xinxin was a little surprised. The original Xiao Chen in the front passenger seat instantly became Yang Jiannan. She said, What kind of mask is this? Why is it so magical? I can't even tell that it's a different person. This is the real face. It was peeled off from Yang Jiannan's face. Are you afraid? Asked Xiao Chen. Ah, you're lying. How is that possible? Lan Xinshin didn't believe it. Then you go. I'm leaving. Keep in touch by phone in the future. Goodbye. Xiao Chen nodded, got out of the car, and strode into the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Along the way, there were people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau who greeted Xiao Chen from time to time, but Xiao Chen didn't know these people. He just smiled at them. He went directly to Xia Zhili's office and saw that Xia Zhili was studying the Five Poisons secret book. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, why are you still studying this book? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. Oh, nothing to do. This is a very powerful secret book. If you master it, it is said that you can sweep the underworld. Although I can't practice it, it's fine. I'm just looking around. Xia Zhili smiled and put down the secret book. He said, don't worry. I won't practice it randomly. I'm not stupid. This kind of unrealistic thing is just a thought. That's good. Xiao Chen smiled and said, I was really afraid that you would take it too hard and practice it. Huh, how was it? Did you have a good New Year? I have already collected evidence about what you said. I'm ready to make things difficult for you during the meeting. You cooperate with me. Xia Zhili ordered. No problem. Xiao Chen responded. The two of them walked to the conference room one after another. Song Bilian, Deputy Bureau Chief Shang, and Ling Tian, the Deputy Bureau Chief, also came to the conference room one after another. The meeting had begun. However, at the beginning of the meeting, Xia Zhili threw out the heavy bomb that Pang Fengda and Wang Chake helped the Gao family to deal with the Qi family. It directly blew up the people present and made them at a loss. However, looking at the evidence documents that Xia Zhili took out, even Song Bilian couldn't find any reason to refute. He could only sit there with a gloomy face and say nothing. He didn't understand if his subordinate was out of his mind. Not only did he fail to do this, but he was also caught by Xia Zhili. This time, there was no hope for Wang Chake to be promoted to the leader of Team B. It must be known that Wang Chake was also a person who relied on him through Pang Fengda. During this time, he had been working to replace Wang Chake, but now everything was shattered. Song Bilian glanced at Xiao Chen and said faintly, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang used to be from Team B, Wang Chake is from Team B. Let Deputy Bureau Chief Yang speak on this matter. After all, Chake is also Deputy Bureau Chief Yang's subordinate. Chapter 739. Song Bilian's words were actually a hint to Xiao Chen that as long as he could help Wang Chake get through this, he would get Wang Chake's full cooperation in whatever work Xiao Chen had in the future. Unfortunately, Song Bilian had no idea that this matter was caused by Xiao Chen. Oh, I heard about this when I returned to Songming. I think this Wang Chake is no longer suitable to hold an important position in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He actually colluded with the Gao family's children to harm the Qi family's children. Although Xiao Chen had a hand in it, Xiao Chen and I have a personal grudge. I still support him in this matter, so I agree with Deputy Director Xia's suggestion to launch an investigation on Wang Chake. I believe this person must have done such things before. Xiao Chen said. Song Bilian's face darkened and became even uglier. He did not expect Yang Jianan and Xia Zhili to be on good terms again. Although the two of them had conflicts before, he did not know what they had reached in private. In any case, the two of them were echoing each other. Well, in that case, let's vote. Those who agree to investigate Wang Chake, raise your hands. Ling Tian said. Then, Xiao Chen and Xia Zhili raised their hands. Good, 2 votes. Those who disagree, raise your hands. Ling Tian looked around. Only Song Bilian raised his hand. Deputy Bureau Chief Shang had always abstained. Only 1 vote disagrees. So be it. Start an investigation on Wang Chake. As for Pang Fengda, he is also an accomplice. Although it is not a big problem, he still violated the rules. He will be kept on probation. Yes. Song Billion had no choice. He could not ignore Ling Tian's words. He could only accept it with a dark face. Good, since this matter is over, let's move on to the next topic. Ling Tian did not expect Xia Zhili to suddenly reveal this matter. Originally, he had called the meeting to talk about another important matter. In the martial arts world, there will be a Lunar New Year auction in a few days. At the auction, there will be an item that we need. The higher-ups have given us a mission to bring a team to bid for this item and bring it back to the research agency for research. Oh. Ling Tian's words caused an uproar among the deputy bureau chiefs. This mission was strange enough. It had never happened before. May I ask what it is? Xia Zhili asked. It is a refining material called extraterrestrial meteorite. It can be used to forge weapons. It is said to be very sharp, but it has more research value. It is said to be a new type of metal. It is said to be a new type of metal. If we can get our hands on it, it will make great contributions to aerospace, weapons, and other fields. Ling Tian said, however, the outer martial world auction is an auction that has been passed down for thousands of years. Even our supernatural investigation department has no way of forcing people to hand over the materials. If you want to obtain it, you can only follow the rules of the auction and bid for it. I see. Everyone nodded. Ling Chuan Chen's long as Wen didn't said. What the higher-ups mean is that this matter is of great importance, so they asked one of our deputy directors to lead a team to the outer world of martial arts to bid for the auction. After the auction, there might be some martial artists who don't abide by the rules and kill them on the way. We must have an expert on our side. But at the same time, due to the strict inspection of the auction house, we can't bring firearms. If we bring those things, I'm afraid we'll be rejected at the door and won't even be able to enter. Ling Tian said, thus, one of us will be chosen to go. After we succeed, we will have to send the materials to Lon City's military technology research facility as soon as possible. Only then will this mission be considered complete. Previously, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang was involved in the Lon City incident. I think it's better to let Deputy Bureau Chief Yang go this time. Just as Ling Tian finished speaking, Song Billion spoke up. He wanted to mess with Xiao Chen. From his point of view, this mission was full of danger. It was the martial arts world and there were people trying to rob it. If he did not handle it well, he would lose his life. Since Xiao Chen did not know what was good for him, he would teach him a lesson. What? Xia Zhili was shocked. How could he not know the danger? If there was such a ridiculous mission in the past, it would be Ling Tian himself or Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang. Xia Zhili and Song Billion would definitely not go. He did not expect Song Billion to say this. He was unhappy. Deputy Bureau Chief Song, you must be mistaken. The person in the Lon City Military Technology Research Institute was Xiao Chen. What does it have to do with Yang Jiannan? Isn't Yang Jiannan Xiao Chen? This was caused by his own problems. In the records of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he went under Yang Jiannan's name. Besides, Yang Jiannan was the newly appointed Deputy Bureau Chief. It was reasonable for him to go and gain experience. He couldn't just sit back and do nothing, right? Young people should travel more. It's not good for old people like us to participate in the auction. Song Billion said. Deputy Bureau Chief Ling, why don't we raise our hands to vote? All right. Those who agree with Yang Jiannan leading the team, please raise your hands. Ling Tian nodded. This time, other than Song Billion being the first to raise his hand, what was surprising was that Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang also raised his hand. Xia Zhili frowned when he saw this. However, he could understand why Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang didn't care. Now that this mission might be assigned to him, he had to participate. Otherwise, according to common sense, Ling Tian and Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang should go. All right, I also agree with Yang Jiannan leading the team. 3-2. This matter is decided, Ling Tian said. This made Xia Zhili feel even more uncomfortable. Previously, Ling Tian did not participate in the voting. However, this time, he participated. It was obvious that he was unwilling to lead the team. He had the same thought as Deputy Bureau Chief Zhang. Since someone chose to lead the team, why not go with the flow? Are you guys bullying the newbies? Xia Zhili's face darkened. Hee, I'll go then. Xiao Chen saw that the matter was settled. It was useless to say anything more. Moreover, going to the martial arts world was a good thing. He also wanted to know more about the Quishan faction. Xia Zhili also knew that there was no way to change it. If he refused to carry out this decision, then Xiao Chen's position as deputy bureau chief would be over. He had no qualifications, unlike Xia Zhili, who could not act shamelessly. Xia Zhili was a person who was seriously injured for the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Whether he refused or not, others could not do anything to him. However, Xiao Chen could not. Although Yang Jiannan had performed many meritorious deeds before, everyone knew in their hearts that it was done by Xiao Chen and not Yang Jiannan. Even if the current Yang Jiannan was Xiao Chen, it was useless if others did not know. In the hearts of others, Yang Jiannan was a newbie who had not done anything yet. He had no right to refuse anything. In that case, Song Huawu, Xia Shibin, and Wang Chake will work together with Yang Jiannan. Wang Chake will redeem himself by doing good deeds. Xia Zhili didn't mind scamming Wang Chake again. Going to the auction, there would naturally be some errand work. Bringing Wang Chake along was actually bringing along a lackey. If anything really happened, he could use him as a scapegoat. This. Song Billion did not expect Xia Zhili to make such a suggestion, but he could not refuse. After all, it was reasonable. He could only say in a low voice, Wang Chake is originally part of Team B under Deputy Bureau Chief Xia's jurisdiction. There is no problem with him cooperating. Then, let's leave it at that. Alright, the meeting is adjourned. Ling Tian made the final decision. Deputy Bureau Chief Yang, I will send you the relevant information about the auction later. When the time comes, you can choose to go. No problem. Xiao Chen nodded. After the meeting, Xiao Chen followed Xia Zhili back to the office. As soon as he entered the door, Xia Zhili began to flip out. This Song Billion is really wicked. He actually let you do such a thing. The relationship between our Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the outer martial arts world has never been too good. In the past, they could not do anything to us if we carried guns. Now that we cannot carry guns, it is very likely that something will happen to you if you go. Oh. People from the outer martial arts world would dare to openly attack people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Xiao Chen was stunned. He did not think so much before. Now that he heard it, it did not seem to be the case. They definitely wouldn't dare to openly, but if someone robbed you afterward, they would definitely not expose their identity. When something happens to you, even if the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wanted to find the murderer, it would be a mess. There would be no way to start the investigation. We can't possibly investigate all the sects participating in the auction, right? We don't have that ability. Xia Zhili shook his head. So, old Zhang also saw that this task was difficult. When Song Billion recommended you, he and Ling Tian immediately agreed. I'll be careful. Xiao Chen did not feel too afraid. After all, it was not the first time he dealt with the outer martial arts world. He had even killed many people from the outer martial arts world. When something happened, he would use Wang Chake as cannon fodder. Well, I can't say more. Everything depends on your luck and fortune. Xia Zhili picked up the 5 Poisons secret book in the drawer and said, this book should be able to be auctioned for a high price. I have no use for it. You can go to the auction and sell it for some pocket money. It will not be a wasted trip. Oh. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. This is originally yours. Take it. Xia Zhili saw Xiao Chen's stunned expression and could not help but wave his hand. Okay. Xiao Chen did not argue and kept it. As for whether he really wanted to auction it, it would depend on the situation. In fact, Xiao Chen was really not short of money, but Xia Zhili did not know and thought that Xiao Chen was very poor. By the way, Yang Jiannan should have some assets. I will find a way to get them for you. I will open a new account for you and call it Yang Jiannan. No one will suspect anything. Xia Zhili suddenly thought of something, so he said. Then I will trouble Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. Although Xiao Chen was not short of money, it was not good to refuse Xia Zhili's enthusiasm. Chapter 740. As he spoke, Xiao Chen's mobile phone received a mission message from Ling Tian. In fact, the content was very simple. On the 5th of next month, the Martial Arts Association would hold a spring festival auction. Cultivators above the level of martial arts master were eligible to participate. Each martial arts master could bring 3 to 5 followers. The followers were limited to cultivators, and there was no restriction on the level. Other than asking him to find a way to get the extraterrestrial meteorite iron, there was no other explanation. It was completely for Xiao Chen to improvise. However, it was understandable. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau should not have received an invitation from the auction. Everything they knew now was by beating around the bush. It was normal that they did not have much information. When the time came, Xiao Chen could only adapt to the situation. Xiao Chen showed the message to Xia Zhili and said, Right, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, if I go to the auction, won't you give me the auction funds? Oh, you bid first, and then in the payment link, just transfer the money directly. Xia Zhili explained, You haven't experienced similar missions before, so it's normal that you don't know. Coming out of Xia Zhili's office, Xiao Chen called Song Huawu and Xia Shibin to the office. Hey, Brother Yang, you're back. Xia Shibin was very happy to see Xiao Chen. I missed you. Go to hell. Huawu can miss me, but what about you? Xiao Chen glared at him. Can't I, your little brother, miss you? Xia Shibin laughed twice. Song Huawu was also very happy to see Xiao Chen, but she didn't show it. It's good that you're fine. Don't worry too much about the mission. When we were in Lego Town, wasn't it also very dangerous? In the end, we were saved. You all know? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He hadn't said it yet. How did Song Huawu know about the mission in advance? Of course, after the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's decision is made, they will also send us the mission in the form of text messages. Song Huawu said, It's just that I didn't expect that one day I would start to intervene in the affairs of the martial arts world. I used to act in the secular world. Yeah, it's quite exciting to think about it. Brother Yang, if we kill Wang Chake this time, can Sister Hua Wu take over the position of Team B's leader? Can I be the leader of Team C? Xia Shibin asked excitedly. It'll be a little difficult for Hua Wu to take over as team leader. Right now, the position of Team B's team leader is still in a difficult situation. It's also the result of the struggle between the various forces. Let her be the vice team leader first. Once she gets the credit, she'll be able to smoothly take over as team leader. Xiao Chen said, As for Team C, it's basically my and Deputy Director Xia's private territory. No one can intervene. He and I used to control it together, and no one else can intervene. As for Team B, he still needs to sort it out. It doesn't matter. I'm not keen on these things. I just want to contribute to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. But now, the more I know about the inside story, the more disappointed I am. I didn't expect Deputy Director Song to be such a person. I used to think that he was quite good. Song Huawu sighed. Although these things couldn't change her loyalty to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, she was disappointed with Song Billion. Actually, I used to think that Deputy Director Xia and Yang Jiannan were jackals of the same tribe. I even wanted to kill him together, but now it seems that he is a loyal person. At least, he is much better than Song Billion. Xiao Chen also sighed. Yeah, I used to be annoyed with him and Yang Jiannan. They always pointed fingers in front of me, but now we actually became his people. Song Huawu nodded. I think it's quite good. I'm now following Deputy Director Xia and Deputy Director Yang. At least, I don't have to be Yang Jiannan's lackey like before. I feel quite happy. Xia Shibin said, by the way, this mission may be dangerous. Do we need to secretly hide our weapons near the auction? I'm afraid that even if we get the auction item, we may not be able to walk out. I've thought about this, but it's not very practical. Cultivators are very smart. How can there be no patrols in such an important place like the auction? How do we hide it, and where do we hide it? Once we're discovered, have you considered the consequences? Xiao Chen shook his head and said, think about it. If our guns were taken away by these martial arts people, how chaotic would it be? Not only would we have to bear the responsibility, but it might also cause chaos. That's true. Then Xia Shibin asked. We don't expose our identity as Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Just go to the auction as a rogue cultivator or a small sect. After the auction, leave quickly. Xiao Chen said, if our identity is exposed, some martial arts people who are dissatisfied with our Supernatural Investigation Bureau are likely to take the opportunity to kill us. That makes sense. Xia Shibin agreed. We'll try to be low-key and mysterious, so that people can't figure us out. If they can't figure out where we came from, they will have scruples when they attack us. As long as we find a gap, we can leave. You guys pack up, and then inform Wang Chaik. Let him prepare to be cannon fodder. Xiao Chen laughed. I'll inform him. Xia Shibin had been suppressed by Wang Chaik many times before. This time, he could finally have some fun. After Wang Chaik learned of this mission, he looked at the list of people who were going with him and knew that he was cannon fodder. He also knew the contents of the previous meeting. Xia Jili impeached him and Pang Fengda at the meeting, but he had done it after all. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. The Gao family's master was still locked up, so he couldn't deny it. Isn't this Deputy Team Leader Wang? Xia Shibin wandered into Wang Chaik's office. It's Deputy Team Leader Xia. Wang Chaik quickly stood up enthusiastically to welcome him personally. He had to be enthusiastic. Now that Xia Shibin was obviously in cahoots with Yang Jiannan and Xia Jili, his backer, Song Billion, couldn't compete with two deputy bureau chiefs alone. Wang Chaik felt that his days were getting harder. Today, he was used as cannon fodder, but Song Billion didn't even let out a fart. Oh, right. We're going to carry out the mission together. You know that, right? Xia Shibin said lightly. I know. When the time comes, I hope Deputy Team Leader Xia will guide me. Wang Chaik had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Oh, you should prepare well. Prepare to die. Oh, no, prepare to go. Xia Shibin looked like he had spilled the beans. He grinned and turned to leave. Hey, wait. Deputy Team Leader Xia, don't go. Wang Chaik heard that there was a problem. He knew that Yang Jiannan wouldn't let him go. Previously, when Yang Jiannan was the deputy team leader of Team B, he went against him. Now that he had become the deputy bureau chief and was leading the team to carry out the mission this time, once there was a chance, he would definitely not let him go. Looking at Xia Shibin's words, he knew that Yang Jiannan had probably already discussed the plan and was ready to use this incident to kill him. How could he not be afraid? Oh, there's something else? Xia Shibin pretended to be puzzled and turned around. Deputy Team Leader Xia, I was wrong. I did offend you and Deputy Bureau Chief Yang in the past, but at that time, I had no choice. I'm on Pang Fengda's side. I'm on Deputy Bureau Chief Song's side. We're from different factions. This is understandable. Wang Chaik quickly explained. Why are you telling me this? What does it have to do with me which faction you're on? Xia Shibin asked. Deputy Team Leader Xia, give me a clear path. As long as you don't take the opportunity to kill me this time, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Wang Chake made up his mind and said while gritting his teeth. He really had no way at all. Song Billion had not looked for him since the end of the meeting, nor did he explain any countermeasures. Obviously, he had been abandoned. In fact, Song Billion really thought so. In his opinion, Xia Zhuoli and Yang Jiannan definitely wanted to kill Wang Chake, so he had already abolished this chess piece. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Xia Shibin looked at Wang Chake with a confused face. This. Wang Chake was a little disheartened. This was definitely the rhythm of wanting to kill him. However, maybe my boss, Brother Yang, can understand. I don't study much. It's better to let the knowledgeable Brother Yang listen to such esoteric words. Xia Shibin said. Yes, Deputy Bureau Chief Yang is a top student. He was still studying in Songning Second High School before. He will definitely understand. Wang Chake was overjoyed. It was as if he had grasped the last life-saving straw. He said with great anticipation, please pass the message, Deputy Team Leader Xia. Oh, then I'm leaving. Xia Shibin was very refreshed. He could finally hold his head high. In the past, Wang Chake's eyes were almost in the sky. When did he ever speak to him in such a low voice? Xia Shibin turned back to Xiao Chen's office and told these words to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen really didn't know whether to laugh or cry after listening. Who said that we want to kill him? Ha, he thinks so himself. Xia Shibin also laughed. After laughing, he asked, right, Brother Yang, are you really not going to kill him? Using him as cannon fodder doesn't necessarily mean that we have to kill him. We can do it in the open and in the dark. We can let him go to the auction and secretly transfer the items to us. At that time, he will be the one being targeted. If someone really tries to rob him, we can only say that he is unlucky. Xiao Chen said, that's what I thought before. This is also not bad. Killing with a borrowed knife, but he is probably miserable. Xia Shibin felt that Xiao Chen's strategy was really a good one. In this way, they also reduced a lot of risk. However, from what you said, this Wang Chake is a coward. I'm afraid that he won't be able to accomplish anything and will only spoil things. Don't mess things up when the time comes. Xiao Chen was a little hesitant about whether to use Wang Chake or not. I have the same feeling. If he bites all of us out at that time, then we will be F***ked. Xia Shibin nodded. Let's see. Xiao Chen was actually thinking about how to deal with Wang Chake. In fact, the best way was not to kill him, but to subdue him. After all, a person with some ability and strength was very helpful to Xiao Chen. Chapter 741. In particular, Xia Zhuoli wanted to compete for the position of Executive Deputy Director. At that time, the number of subordinates directly determined his right to speak. If Wang Chake could be taken in, then Song Huawu would be promoted. Whether it was Group B or Group C, it would be decided by Xia Zhuoli and Xiao Chen. At that time, it would be much more convenient. It would not be too difficult for Xiao Chen to recover his identity. Xia Shibin saw that Xiao Chen was lost in thought, so he left with Song Huawu to prepare. Early the next morning, Xiao Chen took Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chake to a business car. Wang Chake did not get a positive answer from Xiao Chen. When he got on the car, he was a little nervous. He sat in the car, very reserved and restless. He did not know if this action was his journey of death, but he did not dare to ask in detail. Xia Shibin drove the car and headed for the location of the Outer Martial Arts Circle auction. The location of the Outer Martial Arts Circle auction was actually not very far from Tianfang Province. It was at the junction of Tianfang Province and Dinan Province. There was a huge mountain range here that stretched endlessly. It belonged to the primeval forest within the borders of the Great Xia Kingdom. It had not been developed and had also become the residence of these martial artists. This mountain range was called Martial Mountain in the martial arts world. It was the location of many activities in the Wulian world. When Xiao Chen and the others came here, they could not go up the mountain. There was only a paid parking lot at the foot of the mountain. This was not a tourist attraction. Usually, no ordinary people came here. It was not known if there was a procedure for this parking lot. Anyway, there was a big sign saying, Wulian Guild Paid Parking Lot. With this huge name, it was estimated that no vehicle would dare to come here without paying the fee. When Xia Shibin entered the parking lot, he was really shocked by the parking fee. 10,000 a day. Take the card and pay when you go out. The toll collector at the entrance of the parking lot gave Xia Shibin a time card. Xia Shibin put it in the car and felt a little heartache. 10,000 a day was really a sky-high price. However, Xiao Chen had been cheated in the Hakanamada desert before. Now he was used to it. He shook his head and signaled Xia Shibin not to argue and just find a place. Xia Shibin could only listen to Xiao Chen. Originally, he wanted to show his proof. There was also the power of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau in the External Martial Arts Guild. Maybe they could let him park for free. However, he was just thinking about it. Xiao Chen asked him to hide his identity. If he was exposed because of this parking fee, it would not be worth it. Behind them, some cars also came in. Similarly, they all silently took their time cards. No one said much to the toll collector. After parking their cars, they got off and walked up the mountain. They didn't greet each other and were in a hurry, as if they were in a hurry to do something. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that the people he saw seemed to be the same as him. They were very careful and low-key, as if they were afraid of being recognized. Some of them even wore big sunglasses, scarves, and caps, looking like private detectives. It seemed that not only Xiao Chen was afraid of being robbed after taking photos, but other people in the external martial arts circle were also afraid of this situation. Looking around, the cars these people drove did not have any characteristics of sections. Even the license plates were taken off, so that people could not judge the location of the car and the sect of the people in the car. Also, like Xiao Chen, the car had the license plate of Tianfang Province or Dinan Province. It should be a car rented here after arriving nearby. Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the license plate of the car was Tianfang Province. He was afraid that others would recognize the number of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so he deliberately asked Xia Shibin to change to an ordinary license plate, which was an empty number. Even if they investigated, they could not find out the owner of the car. Everyone, put on your equipment. Xiao Chen told Xia Shibin and others. Before, he was afraid that people would pay attention to him if he was too well armed, but now it seemed that people would pay attention to them if they were not armed at all. After listening to Xiao Chen's words, everyone put on their equipment. In the blink of an eye, the four of them became almost the same as others. After getting out of the car, Xiao Chen led the way in front. In fact, he was following the people in front of him. It was his first time here, so he did not know the route at all. Fortunately, his perception was relatively strong. The people in front were far away, so Xiao Chen could also keep up. Brother Xiao, why do I feel that these people are thieves? Why are they sneaking around in a hurry? Xia Shibin pointed to the people in front of him who were walking fast. Who knows? It's also my first time here. It seems that it is not very peaceful here. Xiao Chen said. However, just as the two of them finished speaking, a few people rushed over from behind. These people were walking very fast, and they did not hide their strength at all. However, Xiao Chen could feel that these people were martial masters, and there were no martial generals. How could they be so arrogant? Get out of the way, get out of the way. The person in front shouted as he ran. Some of the cultivators in front of him immediately moved to the sides, letting this group of people pass. What surprised Xiao Chen the most was that these people did not disguise themselves. Instead, they showed their true faces. They even held their heads high and didn't mind being seen by others. Xiao Chen quietly signaled everyone to move to the sides. Although these martial masters were not in his eyes, Xiao Chen's purpose here was to bid for something, not to fight with others. After these people rushed past, Xiao Chen continued to move forward. However, he deliberately slowed down his pace, waiting for the people behind him to catch up. Just now, he saw from the corner of his eyes that a cultivator in front of him could not dodge in time, and was pushed by the martial master who opened the way, causing him to stumble and fall to the side. When this person fell to the ground in defense, Xiao Chen also saw his strength. Unexpectedly, he was also a martial master. In other words, his strength was not weak, but he still chose to retreat. This made Xiao Chen very curious about the identity of this group of people. After a while, that person came up. He was also an armed cultivator, but compared to the others, his armor was a bit strange. He wore a mask on his face, which made him look quite different. "Brother, may I ask who those ruthless people are?" Xiao Chen waited for him to come up, and then asked while cupping his fists. The masked man coldly looked at Xiao Chen, did not answer, and continued to move forward. "Brother?" Xiao Chen was surprised, and then he chased after him. "Could it be that you are here to make fun of me?" The masked man finally became impatient. He turned his head to look at Xiao Chen and said, "You are here to participate in the auction, but you don't know who he is?" Xiao Chen's heart trembled. Could it be that this group of people is very famous? "Alright, I am leaving. Don't think that I am easy to bully. It is true that I am afraid of them, but I am not afraid of you," the masked man said indifferently, and his body revealed the aura of a 5th-level martial master. "Brother, we are disciples of the sect who came out to gain experience. This is also the first time we have come to this auction, so we really don't know." Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and said, "How could we bully you? The few of us are brother and sister, and even if we combined our strength, we are not a match for you." "Oh." The masked man was slightly stunned, and he looked at Xiao Chen and the others. Xia Shibin, Song Huawu, and Wang Chake hurriedly revealed their strength. The masked man realized that their strength was lower than his, so he believed Xiao Chen's words and said, "So you are all disciples of the sect who came to gain experience. No wonder. I am sorry for what happened just now. I thought you were making fun of me." This person was very open-minded, and after listening to Xiao Chen's explanation, he felt relieved. "It's okay, our sect is here to let us gain experience. When we saw everyone move away just now, we also moved away. You know that although our sect is not weak, we are just newcomers." Xiao Chen deliberately did not say where he was from, and only said, "Also, when you go out to gain experience, you have to keep a low profile. The sect does not allow your identity to be exposed." "I understand that." The masked man nodded and said, "I am from the Green Rock sect, and I am currently the acting sect leader of the Green Rock sect. However, don't you think I am doing badly?" "Brother, you are already a 5th-level martial master, how can you say that? You are much stronger than us," Xiao Chen hurriedly said. "Sai, our sect is just a small sect. My master, who is the old sect leader, has been injured for many years and is bedridden. The disciples of the sect have all left and disappeared over the years. Anyway, seeing that the sect has no development, most of them have gone to find their own way. So, even though I am strong, I still have to lower my head in front of many people." The masked man sighed and said helplessly, "Brother, with your strength, it will not be difficult for you to rebuild the sect in the future." Xiao Chen said, "Forget it, I know my own situation." As if seeing that Xiao Chen was really a newcomer who did not know anything, the masked man no longer guarded against him. "My name is Jingxin Xiang, you can call me Brother Xiang." "Brother, you are treating me like an outsider." "Okay, then I will call you Brother Xiang. My name is Chang Xiao, and I am a 4th-level martial master," Xiao Chen said. "Oh. You are at the 4th-level martial master." Jingxin Xiang was a little surprised. "Then your strength is not weak, and you are a new disciple for training. Your sect is not small. These are all matters of the sect. Forgive me for not saying much. Xiao Chen said apologetically. It is okay, big sects have their own rules. Jing Xinxiang did not mind and said, oh right, you should have heard of the sect of those people. They are from Genie sect. Genie sect? Xiao Chen was slightly surprised. He had never heard of it. You don't know? Looking at Xiao Chen's expression, it was obvious that he did not know. In the past, besides the matters of the sect, I did not know anything else. Xiao Chen said with a bitter smile. That is true. Genie sect is a relatively big sect and is one of the leading sects among the famous righteous sections. So, don't think that those people who just passed by are about the same strength as me. We cannot offend them. These people are very overbearing. When small sects like us see them, we can only take a detour. Jing Xinxiang said. Oh. Since it is a famous righteous sect, why are they so overbearing? Xiao Chen asked. Famous righteous sects are only relative to demon sections. Not all demon sects will name themselves as righteous sects. Jing Xinxiang said. Chapter 742. Oh. Then your Greenstone sect belongs to? Xiao Chen asked again. Our Greenstone sect is in an awkward position. We used to be a righteous sect, but later we changed our main cultivation method and became a demonic sect, but the demonic sect doesn't recognize us. Jing Xinxiang sighed, now we don't know what we belong to. Anyway, the demonic sect doesn't like us, and the righteous sects don't accept us either. We can only survive in the cracks, which is why many disciples left. As they spoke, they had already walked to the middle of the mountain, but there were many people standing in front of them. They stopped not far away and didn't know what they were doing. Xiao Chen and Jing Xinxiang immediately walked over. Not far in front of them, there were a few people blocking their way. Looking over, they saw 3 black-robed men blocking their way. Some of the people who were blocked were allowed to pass after paying the money, while others were in a stalemate at the side. However, they had their choices. Xiao Chen and Jing Xinxiang watched for a while. The people they stopped were all cultivators in disguise. As for those cultivators who were barging in, they respectfully sent them away. They didn't dare to say a word at all. There was more than one way up the mountain, so there were cultivators coming from other directions. Some people could pass smoothly, while others had to pay the money. Brother Xiang, what is the meaning of this? Xiao Chen had already guessed that it was just some people blocking the way to make a fortune, but he still asked. Oh, it's the horse gang. When he said the words horse gang, Jing Xinxiang suddenly gritted his teeth. Brother Xiang seems to hate these people? Xiao Chen was stunned. Not really. After my master was injured, the horse gang robbed our Greenstone sect. Jing Xinxiang gritted his teeth and said, but these people are originally a gang formed by some fierce bandits. Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of people from the underworld and horse gang. If we want to go, how much do we need to pay for the road? Xiao Chen asked. This kind of thing seemed normal to Xiao Chen. Didn't they see the high parking fees in the parking lot below? At least 1 million? Let's go and have a look. Jing Xinxiang sighed and walked over with Xiao Chen. If you want to go, leave behind the money for the road. This mountain was opened by me, and this tree was planted by me. If you don't want to delay the auction, then pay up obediently. Of course, if you don't pay up, we won't show up in front of you. The leader of the bandits in black shouted loudly. May I ask how much money do you need? A shifty-eyed cultivator asked. However, Xiao Chen thought that this person was just a pawn. He only asked to let the cultivators who came later know the price. The auction this time is relatively grand, so the price of the road is slightly more expensive. The price is 100 million. The leader of the bandits said. What? 100 million? Such a huge toll caused the cultivators behind them to be shocked. Wasn't it a little too expensive? They were all from small sects and many of them were loose cultivators. Taking out 100 million at once would basically mean that they would not have any funds left for the auction. The cultivators who came earlier also shook their heads and smiled bitterly. They didn't want to stay here, but they really didn't have the money to go. 100 million was not something they could afford, so they could only stay here and see if there was any other way in the future. This is simply looting a burning house, Jing Xinxiang said angrily after hearing this. His face was full of anger and unwillingness. Xiao Chen naturally knew that this was looting a burning house, but he thought that these people were relying on this to make a fortune. However, he saw that from time to time, some cultivators didn't pay up and just walked in with their heads held high. They didn't even give the bandits any face. He couldn't help but have an idea and said, "Those people didn't pay up. Why don't we do the same and break in? Will it work?" To be honest, 100 million was not a small amount for Jing Xinxiang, so he was a little hesitant. After pondering for a moment, he said, "Since Brother Chang said so, then we can only do this. If you want me to take out 100 million, I won't have any money, let alone buy medicine for my master. The only thing we can do now is to give it a try. It doesn't matter if we don't succeed, since we can't go in anyway. Everyone, take off your clothes and follow me in," Xiao Chen said. Okay. Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were masters who could do whatever they wanted in the secular world. Usually, which bandits would dare to rob them? At this moment, they couldn't hold it in any longer. Speaking of pretending to be arrogant, that was Xiao Chen's strength, especially this kind of arrogant young master. In the blink of an eye, he, who had restrained his aura, became a young master with arrogance written all over his face. If he were to say that he was the grandson of some big sex elder, some people would believe it. "Get out of the way, get out of the way." Xiao Chen roared as he constantly pushed aside the crowd in front of him and rushed towards a few bandits in big strides. Behind him, Jing Xinxiang was like a follower, protecting Xiao Chen. Then, Xia Shibin and Wang Chake were the two servants. Song Huawu, of course, was the beautiful girl who accompanied Xiao Chen to the auction. The leader of the bandits was startled. Xiao Chen's aura wasn't fake, but he looked a little unfamiliar. However, the strength of the peak of the fourth layer of Devil Master couldn't be faked, so he didn't stop Xiao Chen. Instead, he silently gave his two subordinates a meaningful glance. Xiao Chen was overjoyed. It seemed that he had rushed through. However, just as Xiao Chen had passed, one of the bandits suddenly exclaimed, "Eh? Aren't you Zheng Ruobi from the Green Rock sect?" Green Rock sect? The leader of the bandits immediately looked at Jing Xinxiang and recognized him immediately. Previously, when the Green Rock sect was wiped out, Jing Xinxiang had resisted, but he had been beaten up. Jing Xinxiang was shocked, and his liver and guts were about to burst. However, he forced himself to calm down and rushed forward with Xiao Chen. "Wait, stop right there." The leader of the bandits made a gesture, and two bandits immediately blocked in front of Jing Xinxiang. Even Xia Shibin, Wang Chake, and Song Huawu who were behind him were blocked. Xiao Chen had already rushed over, but now he had no choice. He could not ignore the people behind him. He could only turn back and said impatiently, "Damn, who are you? You dare to block young Master Chang's way? Do you want to die?" Young Master Chang. The leader of the bandits looked up and down at Xiao Chen. He had never heard of any sect with a young master called Young Master Chang. As professional bandits, they were very discerning. They usually inquired about all the people in the big sects who should not be trifled with, but they did not remember anyone called Young Master Chang. Could it be a nickname? Does it mean that he is a very strong young master? Humph, yes, I am the former acting head of the Green Rock sect, Jing Xinxiang. However, I am now following young Master Chang. Jing Xinxiang had no choice, but the arrow on the bow had to be shot. He could only pretend to be arrogant and said loudly, "Hee, this is young Master Chang, right? It is not that I do not want to give you face. If you want to go over, you can, but you have to tell me your name, right?" The leader of the bandits was not sure if Jing Xinxiang's words were true or false, but he did not dare to make things difficult for him directly. Instead, he turned his head and asked Xiao Chen, Is the name of the sect something that can be casually told to you? Xiao Chen's heart sank. It seemed that he was being suspected. However, he could not lie blindly. What if he said something wrong? Since you are not willing to tell me, then I have no choice but to pay. Otherwise, how can I, pockmark Yao, live in the future? When the time comes, will anyone who says that they are young Master Chang, young Master Ming, or young Master Lei pass? Pockmark Yao sneered. Obviously, he was not going to let Xiao Chen pass. Since you want to know, I might as well tell you. I am from the Kuei Mountain sect. Xiao Chen knew of a rather ruthless demonic sect called the Kuei Mountain sect. As for the demonic star sect and the extreme ice sect, Xiao Chen did not know if the leader of the bandits would give them face. However, the Kuei Mountain sect was clearly a very powerful sect, so Xiao Chen reported its name. What? You are from the Kuei Mountain sect? Pockmark Yao was stunned. Then, he smiled and said, I am from the Kuei Mountain sect. I went over this morning. You said that you are from the Kuei Mountain sect. May I ask what your name is? Went over. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. He had not expected this. However, he remained calm and said, that's impossible, right? Senior brother and the others clearly came out later. How could they have gotten ahead of me? He did not know if this was true or if Pockmark Yao was lying to trick him. However, his answer was watertight. It doesn't matter if they are your senior brother or not. If you report your name today, then I, Pockmark Yao, will naturally give you face. However, if you don't, hee. Pockmark Yao laughed. I, Pockmark Yao, am not doing this for nothing. If you don't pay up, then please leave. Since you asked, there's no harm in paying. My name is Qing Mingxiang. Xiao Chen said. Qing Mingxiang? This young Master Chang. Pockmark Yao was slightly stunned. He looked at his two subordinates and asked, have you heard of him? No. Both of them shook their heads. I'm sorry, I have to verify your identity. I suspect that you are lying to us. Of course, if you are not lying, then you can pass. Pockmark Yao said. Then what are you waiting for? Young Master Chang, my time is limited. Xiao Chen was not afraid of their verification. The Kuei Mountain sect really had a person called Qing Mingxiang. Pockmark Yao took out his phone. This made people sigh. The horse gang had become modernized. He dialed a number and said a few words to the other side, mentioning Qing Mingxiang's name. After a while, Pockmark Yao's expression changed. He hung up the phone and looked at Xiao Chen. He sneered and said, young Master Chang. Strong my ass. You are just the son of an ordinary disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect, Qing Zhongfan. You are just a nominal disciple of the Kuei Mountain sect. How dare you call yourself young Master Chang? Since you are from the Kuei Mountain sect, I will give you face and not beat you up. If you don't pay up, then go back. Xiao Chen did not expect Pockmark Yao to be so arrogant. He thought that the Kuei Mountain sect was famous and anyone from the Kuei Mountain sect could pass. However, these people did not give him face at all. However, at this point, it was impossible for Xiao Chen to pay up. There were only 4 people on his side. If they passed, it would be 400 million. How could he have so much money? You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.